May not make conversations friendlier on one social media platform.
As part of its effort to promote healthy dialogue, Twitter is rolling out its Hide Replies feature globally. The goal to tame toxic discussions and give posters more control. Instead of removing comments entirely, hidden replies are an extra click away on a separate page. Twitter initially testing the tool in Canada, finding people were more likely to reconsider their interactions when their tweet was hidden. Though critics feel hiding replies may hinder free speech, silence opposing views, or fact checks of misinformation. Overall, Twitter reps say they've seen positive results. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
An hour to the close on Wall Street, stocks are slightly lower. Right now, the Dow is down about 15 points, but back over 27,800. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Hey, do you know what time the bank closes? I need to deposit my check.
You know you can do that from your phone.
I can?
With Bank of Guam's mobile app, it's easy. Just endorse the back and snap a pic to deposit it into your account. You can do this from anywhere, anytime, which means no rushing to catch the bank and no lines.
With Bank of Guam's mobile app and online banking, we're always open. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
Attention federal employees and annuitants. Enjoy free health screenings and learn more about Take Care's 2020 health plan offerings during open season at the Micronesia Mall every Saturday through December 9th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Join us for raffle prizes and a variety of health fair activities, including massage demos, health screenings, on-site gym partners, Medicare info, health risk assessments, and much, much more. We hope to see you there. To learn more, visit TakeCareAsia.com. Take Care, the first reaccredited health plan in the region.
'Tis the season to be feasting. Indulge the fun way at Sandalo Club's Donut Dash 2K 5K on Saturday, November 30 at Tizen Complex. Race starts at 6 a.m. There will be cash prizes, and the first 300 finishers get a free coffee mug, perfect for dunking those donuts you will get when you register. The more donuts you eat, the better you'll do. The Donut Dash registration fee is $15. Register online at guamdonutdash.eventbrite.com or call 488-9028. A portion of the proceeds will benefit the Guam Police Department. Half a day and good morning. It's 6:06. I'm Mana Silva Tyron, and here are some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. That mother who was seen on video dangling her young child over a second-floor balcony has been identified by authorities. 19-year-old Norianne Tommy was arrested and charged with child abuse, family violence, and reckless conduct. She's being held at the Department of Corrections. Tommy told police she held her 2-year-old daughter over the balcony to stop the child from crying. She allegedly told police that her daughter was trying to climb the balcony several times, and every time the mother pulled the daughter away from the balcony, the toddler would cry. According to court documents, Tommy stated each time she held the daughter over the balcony, the child would stop crying. The prosecution has alleged in court documents a police officer received a video via Instagram that first showed the mother holding the child over the outer edge of a second-story balcony by the arms. The defendant then lifted her child back over the railing to the inside of the railing. The Child Protective Services Division has been contacted and apprised of the case investigation. It's about time. That's a sentiment from many Dededo residents regarding the clearing of what was once a jungle area, an abandoned quarter-acre lot where a 13-year-old girl was allegedly dragged and raped on Monday night. Since that night, Mayor Melissa Savares has taken a bulldozer to these privately owned lots and leveled them in the name of public safety. That action was met with relief. The mayor and residents said the lot along West San Antonio Avenue was one of several abandoned areas that were used primarily by men who would bring alcohol to the jungle area and drink. Many residents in the neighborhood where the alleged rape occurred shared their concern with the Guam Daily Post, but were concerned for their safety or had close ties with the victim's family, so they didn't want to be publicly named. The woman said that with one lot cleared and another lot around the corner being worked on, the area already feels a little cleaner and a little safer. She said the additional police patrols would also help boost a feeling of public safety. Meanwhile, Guam Police Department officers continue to canvass the area and review surveillance videos from the store and from nearby homes and establishments looking for clues into the rape of the 13-year-old girl. Police on Wednesday said the male suspect has been described as being possibly Chuckese with a slim build, standing 5'7", maybe in his early 30s, with a dark complexion and a mustache. He was wearing dark clothing at the time. Police continue to ask anyone with information to contact them. Meanwhile, Sergeant Paul Tapau has noted that the recent photograph of a man wearing a long-sleeved blue shirt taken from inside the store of Papa's store in Dedido, he did say that he was interviewed and cleared. The man in the video shot did reach out to the Guam Daily Post, saying that the video being shared has frightened his family. Additionally, he shared information about another man with police whom he heard is the perpetrator. He also believes that that man may have already fled back to Chuk. An internal memo distributed to the Department of Corrections personnel this week outlined some operational changes that are to take place to allay concerns by officers who have expressed frustration over poor working conditions at the facility. The memo was signed by Acting DOC Director Joe Carbolito and concurred by Director Sam Brennan, who remains on leave. First, Carbolito will be responsible for overseeing the operations of the department with the advice and recommendations of the warden and the command staff. Scheduling and flexibility to adjust regular days off will be the responsibility of the platoon commanders with input from the unit managers. Also, the SORT team, or the Special Operations Response Team, has been reinstated, and personnel will not be able to work more than 16 hours pay and will also be afforded rest time. The changes are to take effect immediately. According to the governor's policy director, Director Brennan remains on as the head of the DOC, and the memos is merely to outline the division of administrative and operational duties within her management team. Brennan's immediate focus is resolving personnel shortages through the expedited hiring of 40 to 60 officers by the end of the year and the payment of overtime. Meanwhile, the front office says that DOC overtime payments will be up to date by today. Today's payments will cover overtime owed to pay periods from October 12th through November 9th, bringing overtime current at the correctional facility. We'll have more news after this.
Half a day. This is Melanie Mendiola.
And this is Ricky Hernandez. We're with the Guam Economic Development Authority.
And we're both alumni of the University of Guam. We're calling on our fellow alumni to make an investment in Guam's future by contributing to the G is for Giving campaign. With your donation, you are giving more students the opportunity to graduate, making Guam a better place.
To make a tax-deductible donation, log on to give.uog.edu before December 31st or call 735-2957 for more information.
Viva UOG! Go green, go hybrid, go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
The criminal trial for Jotnya Mayor Jesse Mendiola Blas has been moved to February of next year. District Court Judge Francis Tudinko Gatewood approved the defense's motion to delay the trial. Blas has been charged with 6 counts of extortion under the color of official right and 7 counts of bribery. He pleaded not guilty to the charges and continues to be held in jail pending his trial. The mayor accused of accepting cash bribes from a confidential source who was cooperating with the government in an unrelated criminal case. He's alleged to have used mailboxes at the Jotnya mayor's office to assist in a drug trafficking operation in his village. In her decision, Judge Tudinko Gatewood noted the failure to grant a postponement would deny Blas's attorney the reasonable time necessary to prepare for a trial. A hearing on all motions is scheduled for January 23rd, and jury selection and trial scheduled to begin in February 2020. A convicted drug dealer who violated his supervised release by testing positive for methamphetamine use multiple times was sentenced to 15 months in prison. Benny Benvides was sentenced Thursday in the district court after admitting to multiple violations, including failing to report for drug testing, testing positive for methamphetamine, and lying to probation officers about drug use. He was ordered to be committed to the Bureau of Prisons or 15 months and up to release. And upon release will be placed on supervised release for 22 months. Well, the Guam Power Authority wants to reduce the fuel surcharge, and it could mean lower power bills. This as fuel costs continue to fall. The current surcharge is about 15.4 cents per kilowatt hour. The utility is proposing a 10% drop to about 13.8 cents for the period between February and July of 2020. Under GPA's plan, it can still reduce the fuel surcharge by 10% while also recovering the $9.3 million in additional fuel costs it incurs. This fuel cost recovery period because of a higher price of oil. Well, what's next is the Consolidated Commission on Utilities will have to give their approval on GPA's plan before they take the matter to the Public Utilities Commission. And finally, FHP's home health getting top billing this week, with the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services recently completing its audit of FHP's health center's home health agency. FHP awarded it a star rating score of 4.5 for quality patient care. The score means that FHP Home Health performed better than other national agencies on health practices and patient outcomes. And those are some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. I'm Mona Silva Tyron.
Well, thanks very much, Mona Silva Tyron. Here's the weather. Partly sunny and breezy with isolated showers and thunderstorms today. East winds 20 to 25 miles an hour. Did you hear that? East winds 20 to 25 miles an hour, gusting to 35 in showers, decreasing slightly each evening. Highs near 88 degrees and overnight lows should be about 77 degrees. Sunset last night, 5:50. Kind of gorgeous. Tonight, the sunset's going to be about 5:50 as well. Sunrise this morning, still a few minutes off, 6:23, so it's still dark outside. Michael Knight, Duke Sky Talker from the Weather Center here at the Point, is going to tell you what you are seeing. Very interesting radar signature this morning.
Yeah, we've got so much going on in the weather, I could actually talk about it to the news break at the bottom of the hour, but since the show is not meteorology with Mike, I'll try to keep it short. Right now we got surge coming in. Man, it's pushing on in real nice. We're getting those winds out there. Showers are coming along with it. This is really about the closest equivalent that Guam can get to having cold fronts come in. We're bringing some dry air with these showers, but you can't tell because it's raining. Just in waves is how it's coming. You'll get a little shower, then it'll stop, then another shower, then it'll stop. And that's how things are just going to be right on through the weekend, it looks like. So you'll be dodging these showers as we go. Winds are going to be about 20 to 25. You'll get some higher gusts as the showers move through, so watch out for the blowing sand if you're out and about at the beaches enjoying yourself. Switching to satellite real quick here, and then we'll switch to the other thing in a moment. We are kind of in you can see, kind of an impressive little shear line that is literally pushing through with more pinks behind it. So the air will dry out. Probably this afternoon, these showers will start to taper off a bit before another round moves through sometime this weekend. Going over to the earth winds that I pulled up earlier, that green one. Now, what we're looking at...
Hey, where'd it go? There it is.
There it is. So we see Guam right there, and we can really see the surge, which the initial part of the surge is actually almost made it all the way to the Philippines. And this is an impressive surge. This is, they're talking about, in terms of the dynamics and the scope of it all, it's just off the charts. We are now starting to see, and you can see how the colors kind of get lighter and tighter and more bold as we get near Guam. Pardon me. So that is showing that this leading edge of showers is actually bringing in stronger winds. So the winds actually this afternoon are going to be much stronger than they are right now. Now, if we scooch back over to the right, because there are rumors that we may be dealing with a tropical system sometime next week, and I've been talking to Landon about this, and the GFS model is being pretty aggressive, showing a system forming and developing. We do have a weak system down there. You can see it in the curl of the winds. That is 94W Invest. It is also a twin with a system that's on the other side of the equator that you can also see, and that's 90P. This happens sometimes, especially this time of year when you get these surges that come in and kind of stir things up on both sides of the equator. Long story short, this system is supposed to work its way slowly in our general direction and possibly form into something. We got plenty of time to watch out for it because it won't really affect us until sometime next week. But by Monday, we'll have a better idea of what this thing is going to do. And, of course, we'll keep you posted of any changes. Until then, enjoy the breeze.
Yeah, it's going to be like that. 6:18 in the morning. That's news and weather together, brought to you by Bank Pacific, banking on the Pacific for 65 years.
Did you know that home loan rates have plunged again? Would you like to take advantage of these lower rates to help lower your monthly payments? Refinancing doesn't have to be for another 30 years. It can be for 10, 15, or 20 years. It's up to you. Reduce your monthly payments. Pay off your loan earlier. At Bank Pacific, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender. Credit conditions apply.
Are you ready for some football? The Ray Gibson Show has got your fix every day with the Points NFL Pick'em contest. Get the latest updates as we check out the past week's performance and break down the upcoming action. Get your game on by calling the hotline at 888-TALK or sound off on Facebook Live at thepoint.gu. League members get a chance to win some awesome weekly prizes with a shot for your choice of a new GTA phone. The NFL Pick'em contest is brought to you by Current Guam with special thanks to GTA.
Noted portions of the Ray Gibson Show being brought to you by our friends at American President Lines, APL, the global presence with a local home. And the team over at Wendy's, they've been cracking eggs all night, ready for you to enjoy the best breakfast value on Guam. We got breakfast platters with eggs, rice, and some kind of breakfast meat for just $4. Applewood smoked bacon. Comes from pigs. Yep, it's fact. Applewood smoked bacon. We got Portuguese sausage.
And that pig actually was oinking in Portuguese.
I didn't recognize that. Is country fried chicken with just the hokiest jokes in the world here. Country fried chicken with gravy. Wendy's breakfast platter is only $4 at Wendy's. Now that's better.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Yeah, James Howard caught me. He caught me. It's I don't know what it is. You know, I probably shouldn't read this one here, the very first live break in the program when I say the breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Best breakfast.
Welcome to Friday. Hey, welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray Gibson. That other girly voice there belongs to my baby sister, Montecilva Tyron, comes in and takes care of news reading requirements for the program with a little bit of help from the guys over at the Guam Daily Post. Michael Knight, and maybe one of these days, wouldn't that make a great retreat from the Ray Gibson Show to have meteorology with Mike? What do you say?
Yeah, we could do it today. I got plenty to talk about, man. This trade wind surge. Well, I couldn't even get into the part where the wind is really not the thing we're worried about on land. It's in the water where this is going to cause problems. Forecast showing maybe waves of near 20 feet on windward
Albert's
shores
cheering.
next week.
Albert One's going to go crazy because that means it's great surfing weather.
Yeah, it's going to be real dangerous out there, though, and certainly going to get some small craft advisories issued today, high surf advisories issued through the weekend, warnings as we get into next week, and this thing is supposed to continue right on through midweek.
You know what's interesting here is they just started. Well, they're wrapping up here. What is it? Operation Vigilant Gaga over at the Guard.
Yes, today's the last day.
There is beginning soon, according to something I found on the web, more than 1,500 sailors from 4 Indo-Pacific countries have started the second iteration of Exercise Pacific Vanguard off the coast of Guam. The cooperative multinational maritime training exercise involves forces from the United States, Canada, the Republic of Korea, and Australia. Pacific Vanguard allows participating maritime forces to train together and increase cooperation at sea.
Not to diminish what the land forces and sea forces are doing in their exercises here. As a civilian, I really dig the Air Force exercises because they fly over.
Air show. Some of this stuff we're never going to see. Some of the cool ships and everything that they've got out there.
And I live right in the flight path of Anderson, so it's just like wow.
Oh yeah. They're starting to make that descent. Got 6 miles out. Yeah, I hear you. U.S. 7th Fleet Commander Vice Admiral Bill Murr says, building on the success of the previous exercise, Pacific Vanguard continues to serve as an opportunity for like-minded maritime nations to come together based on their shared value, blah, 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 blah. Where's the fun part here? What's it say? What did we tell you? The U.S. Navy deployed Ticonderoga-class guided missile cruiser, the Chancellorville, and dry cargo ship, the Carl Brashear, a submarine, fleet replenishment oiler, etc. The country will also send aircraft from the, I love the names of some of these groups here, the Red Lancers of Patrol Squadron 10 and the Yellow Jackets of Electronic Attack Squadron 138. So I imagine there might be a little bit more business down in Tumon as these guys and their support crews are all going to be running around here. And what was the line? Ladies, go find somebody to say I do too. 6:23 in the morning. And we got other introductions that we've got to make right about now.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
Studio time 6:23, and Ismael, he must have found his mojo because he's been number one for a couple of days in a row. That's nice. John Ray Titano comes in at number 2. There's James Howard at number 3. Also access to significant alien technology. Al Bautista counting down the day. Yeah, Al's got to come to the radio station. Al, you got to come by the radio station when you're here next week, because I think it's what is it, like 2 more days before Al gets here? It should be like Monday or Tuesday when you're in town. Swing by the radio station. He'll give you a tour of the place and you can see what's going on. Pat and Norma Jean. I love the family that plays together stays together, right? Pat and Norma Jean are online. Tony, Annette, and Pinko Ada, the 2 of those guys, always listening in the morning. That's nice. Sherry Ariarte's online. John Rages, J.B. Nicholas, and Enrico Blancaflor. Now, I don't mean to suggest that if you're listening by yourself, you're in a loser of a relationship, but it's always nice to see couples on the face. You ever see that, like a couple Facebook page?
Couples that listen to the point together stay together.
That's right. So, but you know, every time I see like couples' names on Facebook, I just can't help but think that somebody got in trouble once, and now we have to share Facebook accounts. Right? No,
it's about efficiency.
No DMs, nothing like that.
It's efficiency.
All right. So anyway, congratulations. Glad to have everybody else online. Cousin Troy's there. Bennett Lohan Duenas and Richard Leon. Anita Moftis with the pretty Valentine's eyes are there. Dennis Bensour, Tom Tenorio Bernardo. Good morning to you. David Chargaloff says good morning, Ray and Mana, and good morning, Guam. It's good to have you there. Daniel Anita Ganji Cruz. There we go. That's another husband-wife combo that's listening this morning. Ken Leon Guerrero is there. Richard V. Leon. What's the story on Janela Carrera? Apparently, there's a little bit of a kerfuffle over at Adelup here. Cousin Troy had sent to the governor's office some requested information regarding documents regarding Carlo Branch. Yeah, thank you for your correspondence. And then he's copying. Apparently, they don't know how to comply with FOIAs over at the governor's office. And I've got a page worth of a primer from Cousin Troy to the actual governor on how you're supposed to do these FOIA requests. As of yesterday, you did not respond, which is a violation of Section 10-103, which required you to respond within 4 working days. You did not ask for an extension. Furthermore, our request was for electronic copies of the documents. Under 10104, you were required to provide this to us electronically, as these records are originally in electronic format. Specifically, the language says you shall provide the record in any form or format requested by the person if the record is readily reproducible by the agency in the form or format. As for your excessive copying fees, and it is something like they're apparently asking for 6,000 pages of documents, and the governor's office wants to charge $1,800 for it. And Troy's like, we asked for electronics. You don't. Yeah. That's how we're gonna save the government.
Well, when I was over at GITA, Troy did actually FOIA some documents from us, and
did you make him pay?
No.
Because
we actually gave him just a thumb drive, a thumb drive with all of the documents contained on there. But I mean, I guess it would just depend
what he's asking for
on the agency. I mean, 6,000 pages could easily fit on a thumb drive.
On a thumb drive? You put the whole Bible on the thumb drive.
So perhaps he could use that same thumb drive, bring it downtown, and see if they can put those documents onto that same thumb drive.
Shauna Bentley's online. I got Richard Leon, who's also asking for disbanding the Department of Corrections, and Samantha Brennan. It sounds like that might have already happened. According to what the operational documentation that has come out of Adelup, it sounds like most of the operational activities have now shifted over to Carbolito, right?
It sounds like it.
And her job now is going to be just
administrative.
Yeah, hiring up the 40 to 60
but
people
I think
they
that's
need
a
at the
good
Department
job,
of Corrections.
because was it not her direction over at Behavioral Health and Wellness that helped them get out of the mess that they were in for so long? I think she's good at that sort of thing. But they tried to put her in there in charge of everything with the prison. She has no understanding of law enforcement, prisons, or any of that sort of thing. Not qualified for that aspect, the operational. But I think administratively she's probably going to help out.
But speaking of qualifications, I think one of the concerns of the Department of Corrections officers was that Joe Carbolito is a police officer, not a corrections officer. And I think they wanted somebody who's more inclined toward correctional.
Disagree. You know, after everything that's gone on down there, and the conversation about the possible, use of the militarization, if you will, weaponization of the Department of Corrections, certain officials down there that were able to let people in and out kind of at whim and perhaps on some kind of take down there. I think there needs to be somebody from outside the Department of Corrections managing the operation, specifically so that he can see some of these problems and find out who the bad actors are. You know, to the best degree that he possibly can.
Well, maybe they want somebody
I'm glad
who's
that they're
not
uncomfortable about that.
necessarily in the government, somebody who has the expertise. Bob Klitsky was once a DOC director.
Oh, there's all kinds of people that could go and do the job, but I think the interagency deal.
Speaking of Bob Klitsky, he also has expertise with regard to the FOIA law, and has experience suing government officials for not responding.
He wrote some of that. Richard Leon suggesting, boy, he's full of the hits keep coming from Richard this morning. Move the Zokna mayor trial to off island. We'll see about that. Don't know if that can be done. Dave Chargaloff said those of us who serve the people while at the governor's office know better. Maria Carbolito says, cheers to Friday. There's Nate Horn. Annette Ada Vasquez is online. Happy. What's that? Biba Calvo Tenorio, says Dave Chargaloff. Pat and Norma Jean Flores there. Mingo Reed.
On the subject of Bob Klitsky, rumor has it he has actually made a latte stone with ancient Chamorros.
He is indeed. He's got many significant skills going back an awful long way. Keena McCausland's online with the Happy Friday. Nice to see Heather Perez there. Valerie Lynn Maigi, who is checking in just to make sure that Mana is still here and doing
still
the news
here,
job. Joe Leasealongi online here. Samo and Joe. Greg Karabrock from over at Take Care. Dave said, love you guys. We're here, Larry. Haven't even started yet, Brad. We haven't even started. Joyce Bumba, it's so heartwarming to see you both working together in the morning. Thanks, Joyce. It's kind of a thrill for us as well. It's kind of a
I haven't
thing.
even had to separate you once. It's awesome.
Oh, we never fight.
No. We're the two that don't fight.
He complies whenever I tell him something.
There's also that.
I do too, believe it or not.
Chrisa Valencia saying fry, yay, absolutely right. Simon Sanchez, who we're going to reach out to a little bit later on, maybe shed a little bit more light on the story. Front page of the Guam Daily Post. GPA projects a price drop, and Simon Sanchez now going to the Guam Daily Post website to look up that story, so he's ready when we call and ask him about that. Noram Garcia Tabs saying Mogotin from Majuro, good to have you there. Sam Beanie, Tide Roll, baby, Tide Roll, are you back in town? Says good morning, Ray and Mana, nice to see you there. Sabine Chargaloff, what's new this morning? Well, we'll get you some headlines in a second so you can get caught up on some of the things that we're going to be talking about. Bob Lizama is there up in Jigo celebrating the return of the morning. That's nice. Jess Mendiola, so someone who works for the DOC called me to inform me that the memo that was sent out regarding certain actions to take place is not entirely true. One such action is the immediate reactivation of the Special Operations Response Team. And then it says, see more. I'm going to click because this is interesting. He mentioned that in order for SORT to be activated, it would require 10 additional officers to offset the current rotation and return the officers back to their duties at SORT. So in summation, the memo is misleading to the general public, not in its entirety, but in respects to the misinformation that SORT is immediately restored, which they are not, according to Jess. Therese Uggen-Ragel is online. Who else is playing around? Jess, I pinned that comment. Sorry, didn't mean to pin that. Let me unpin that. And a growing crowd here of folks that are watching The Point every single morning. It's absolutely terrific. It never gets old seeing new names. So do me a favor, invite some of your friends and family to join in the program. Click the share button. There's a federal law. If we don't get to that before 6:35, we're not allowed to use it for the rest of the morning. So there we go. 6:32 and time for headlines. Another look at glance at the stories from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Montecillo Tyrant.
A teen mom reportedly told police that she held her baby over a balcony to get her to stop crying. A 19-year-old Norianne Tommy was arrested and charged with child abuse after a video captured her holding the 2-year-old child over a second-story ledge. She also is charged with family violence and reckless conduct. The man seen in a video circulated by police in connection with a rape of a teen this week says he's not the guy. Police concur and say that the man was actually questioned and cleared. They are still looking for the suspect wanted in the rape of a 13-year-old Dededo girl, the suspect described as being Chuukese. Some internal changes taking effect at the Department of Corrections. A memo was sent throughout DOC, they say, addressing changes to allay the concerns made by officers. The front office does say Sam Brennan is still in charge at the facility. The front office also says they will get up to date today on overtime payments owed to officers. And those are some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. For more on these stories, pick up a copy of the Guam Daily Post or log on to their website at postguam.com.
It's 6:33 in the morning. That's iConnect time. Call the nearest iConnect place, 888-8888, and ask them how they want to save you money moving into the Christmas holiday season on mobile, internet, even push-to-talk plans.
Ever notice how that one perfect holiday gift is just out of reach? Or how sales on the stuff you want all come at the same time? This season, plan ahead with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. Now you can afford to be nice without being naughty. For more details, visit FHB.com or any branch to apply. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Mescla Chamorro Fusion Bistro brings you island hospitality with a true taste of modern Chamorro cuisine. A bistro look that feels like home. Their menu features local and traditional flavors with a twist. From their famous Kelaguen Hapa to fresh ahi poke salad and their award-winning barbecue ribs. Mescla takes your favorite local dishes and serves them with extra flair that you'll only find at Mescla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Stop by their newest location in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Tumon. For reservations, call 969-2652. Mescla, a true taste of Guam.
Like that. Who's that saying? The Sky is having a liquidation sale. That's Jasper still checking in. Apparently, it is raining in some places. Could affect your drive to work or home. Checking out the traffic gizmo. Don't see too many places that are going to be slowing you down at all this morning. As usual, some of the big intersections and areas around the airport might make it a little bit crazy. And watch out for the rain and maybe a little additional wind. Now, there is something that I got to tell you about that has to do with traffic. It is not associated with the traffic gizmo. DPW has issued a notice, and those of you that use Route 8 for a living because you live there and work there, they're about to activate the light over at Route 8 and the Cañada Tolu. That's the one that takes you into Carbolito. They've been working on that one for months now, and apparently it's going to be one. I'll try to explain it to you as best as I possibly can, but I swear to God I'm going to get into an accident here. It's a flashing yellow signal. That's why today the theme for today's show is flashing yellow signal. DPW says they're going to activate it on November the 26th. So all weekend long, it's not going to have traffic through there until it gets to be Tuesday morning, and then the light's going to go on. The traffic signal will allow motorists to turn left after yielding to oncoming traffic. The flashing yellow arrow is designed to help prevent vehicular accidents, move more traffic through the intersections, and provide additional traffic management flexibility. Motorists are advised to proceed with caution through the area. So I guess basically it's either going to be red, which means stop, yellow, which means hurry up, red's coming, and then it will be red. But there's wait a second, no, there is okay. So red, solid yellow, then a flashing yellow, which means you are allowed to turn left when traffic is clear. You must, however, yield to oncoming traffic and pedestrians, and then you've got green. So there's going to be a whole.
Man, that changes that whole song that I learned in kindergarten.
Which is?
No.
Come on.
Doesn't a stop sign
Mary
do
Luber
the
said,
same
well,
thing?
no, I don't know who decided that they needed an intersection there. For 100 years, nobody ever needed to have some kind of an intersection there. People knew just, you got to be careful, right? Because you got people that are turning out of the
anytime you're making a left turn, you got to be careful.
Yeah. Well, so they're putting a light up there, and what it basically means is, if there's nobody coming, go ahead and turn left.
I'm afraid the flashing yellow light is going to tell them, okay, you turn left, and they may not pay attention, and it might actually cause more accidents.
Find the chrome French kiss.
By not stopping the oncoming traffic.
Hopefully they set the timer correctly so that you're not stuck there forever like you are when you go through the McDonald's intersection on Route 8.
You get stuck there?
That light,
you don't like that light?
It never turns green.
For turning towards Cañada Toto or going onto
Route 8.
Okay.
From the loop, it takes forever for that light to turn. And somebody actually has to be turning in for it to turn green. So you run it all the time.
There's people, they're prejudice here. They're prejudice against people that want to just, all we want to do is make a left-hand turn. And the government doesn't want you to make left-hand turns. right? They want you to spend money on gasoline.
It's true.
And do all of that stuff.
Yep.
It's a conspiracy. It's 6:38. That's right now traffic here on The Point.
As the busy holiday season approaches, the last thing on your mind is to visit your medical provider. At American Medical Center, we put your health first. A preventative visit will ensure a healthy holiday season. Call 647-8262, and together we can address any concerns you may have and make certain all your medications are current. From our family to yours, happy holidays from American Medical Center, your partner in healthcare.
Hulu is all your TV in one place, plus more. Watch thousands of hit shows, movies, and award-winning Hulu originals for only $5.99 per month. It's TV without the cable contract and the freedom of on-demand streaming. Get current network shows from ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox, and binge watch every season of your favorite cable shows. Premium Hulu viewing is brought to you by Proline Automotive and AB Sports, Guam's store for Nike. To advertise on Hulu, call Choice Digital at 989-0042.
I see you.
Getting you back to the talk faster. It's the Ray Gibson Show.
That's a fact. That's not just, some slogan that we sent to a guy with a deep voice. That's the idea here. Is a lot of people they'll like stick music up and play a lot of commercials before you get back to. I like talking on the radio. I like talking to you on the radio, and that's why that's one of the other primary parts of the format here is to get back on the air and as quickly as possible and start talking about stuff. Marilu Bersimon is waving at me because I didn't say her name just yet, but I did see your name online. It's just that there are so many comments that come up in the beginning of the program. If I don't get to your name in time, then it goes up and I don't see it. But I see you, Marilu Bersimon, and I saw you and your pretty face running last night. I did some running down in the Tumon area. That was nice. Saw a lot of friends and folks getting ready for a bunch of 5Ks that are coming up, as well as it's about that time where you need to start thinking about what race you're going to be running in the Guam International Marathon, 5K, 10K, half marathon, or the full-blown marathon. And I know there's some of you that are going, well, let me just see what running on Tumon on Wednesday or Thursday night feels like, and then I'll decide whether it's going to be a marathon or a half marathon. Or if you need to, if you're looking for something to do involved with the marathon, but you don't necessarily want to run the marathon, you can follow me around.
Well, that's a lot of fun.
You can follow, hang out with Mana and follow me around and make sure that I've always got something cold, some cold water. It's not so much in the beginning of the race. Yeah, water, Gatorade, and cold sponges, things like that. It's not. I don't need it so much in the beginning of the race, in the first 13 miles or so. It's after about mile 13 or 14 or 15 where you really start to realize just how hot your internal temperatures have gotten.
Well, Shelley and I kind of
Well, that way you can sleep in, too. You can get a little sleeping in. Anthony Bennett, Lohan Duenas from Family Finances online this morning saying TGIF. Absolutely, Anthony Bennett, and thanks for your participation with on one of our other radio stations, Star 101, launching a new morning show with a guy named Straight Up Jed. And tonight there's going to be a huge party, and made even huger because we're doing a money drop. And I want to thank a couple of people, Jimmy Moylan and Family Finance, for helping out with that money drop. Very, very nice of you. 19 away from the top of the hour. And I want to get this on here if for no other reason. Just to inspire many of you. We're talking about going and running and doing some 5Ks and maybe hitting some Zumba and just taking care of yourself. Goldie Hawn is celebrating a birthday and has celebrated a birthday. She's
like 70 or 80?
74. Goldie Hawn is 74 years old. There's not a recent picture of her. This is obviously what Goldie Hawn looked like back in the old Laugh-In days, back in the 60s and 70s. But she has been around that long and doing a bunch of great movies since then. Hooked up with Kurt Russell. And the question that I've got is she still with Kurt Russell? Do you know?
Don't know.
We'll look it up. I mean, that's the important stuff. Forget about the news. Forget about the legislature. Forget about, all of that. The really important stuff is Kurt Russell still with Goldie Hawn? That's what inquiring minds want to know. 6:42 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK as we make our way into Friday. And in the front page of the Guam Daily Post says GPA projects a price drop, which could lead to a change in the LEAC surcharge, which could make things better for you. Consumers of electricity. Good morning, Si.
Good morning, Ray. Beautiful morning.
It's a great morning. Have you felt the breeze yet? It's supposed to get stronger.
Yeah, it's probably going to curve some golf balls this weekend, but hey, we love it. It's that nice time of the year. We'll take the breeze versus that April, May, no wind, hotter than heck, and your power bill goes up. because you're having to turn the dang air conditioner on more.
No, I know exactly what you mean. This will be the time of year. Today, if it's not too rainy, this is the day that you open every window in the house, all the doors, all the windows, and just let that breeze come through and cool things down.
Let that hot air out. Maybe a lot of us could be opening windows today to let hot air out of a room. Too much.
So golf this weekend, Si?
A little bit, little walking, little, golf, little whatever. I mean, Guam has got wonderful opportunities to do whatever, and I love it when you say grill marks. I mean, I'm sure there's some barbecuing, some eating, some pre-Thanksgiving planning, and just heading to we're in that nice time of the year and heading to a nice time of the year.
Yeah.
Despite all of our battles and our discussions with each other, and they get heated, this is still a pretty good place to live, and
awesome place to raise kids, right?
Make it better, but I can't think of a better. I'll visit the world, but I'm going to live here and die here on Guam because I'd never want to live anywhere else. This is home.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I've had the opportunity to fly off and do other things in other places, but the United keeps bringing me home, and that's a happy thing. 644, and so is reporting the Guam Daily Post says that there could be a price drop in what you guys are paying for fuel, which could lead to a drop in the LEAC surcharge.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's actually been a downward trend on oil prices this year. And after we talk about the LEAC, we should talk about how come that hasn't shown up in the gas station prices. But oil prices have fallen. And, we have held the fuel portion of the bill, the LEAC, since May of 2018. We're now 18 months without raising the fuel portion of the bill. And, if you look at the gas stations over the last 18 months, they have gone up and down and up and down and mostly up. But we've been able to, efficient use of our generation, the continued availability of renewable energy to reduce the amount of fuel we need to burn. We've looked ahead, and it looks like we're going to reduce the LEAC. We're going to knock it down. It's currently 15.4 cents a kilowatt hour, about 60% of your bill, and we want to knock that down to at least 13.8 cents. It would be about a $16 a month for every 1,000 kilowatt hours that you use. And so 1,000 kilowatt hours is the average residential usage. Some use more, some use less. So if you're using 1,000 kilowatt hours, the proposal is to knock that down about $16 a month. If you're using 1,500, it'll be about $25 a month. And that's if we stop at 13.8. There's a little bit of a disagreement between Morgan Stanley oil projectors and Standard & Poor's oil projectors. Morgan Stanley is saying oil will continue to fall. S&P is saying, maybe not. So GPA has recommended the most conservative reduction, but we asked them to look at a little further reduction. See if we can wiggle that down a little bit more. And if we can, maybe this proposed reduction on Tuesday might go down a little more. But at a minimum, GPA management is recommending a reduction in the LEAC from 15.5 to 13.8. And depending on how, what's our appetite for risk in case oil prices go up. The whole idea of the LEAC, most important word in LEAC, the acronym L is for levelize, is to keep it. Don't make it go up and down, up and down, up and down like at gas stations. Levelize it, average out the highs, average out the lows, and that's how we've been able to hold your fuel price for 18 months, and it'll be held for 20 months until February 1, and then it's going to go down. And that's the method to the madness. To me, what's very good about the LEAC, it averages out highs and lows and tries to keep that steady. We've managed to keep it steady. We'll keep it steady for 20 months, but now we're projecting come February, should the PUC agree with us, and I think they would, we see a reduction in the LEAC starting February 1. That will be our recommendation, and it will be at least a reduction of about 10% on the LEAC, 15.5 to 13.8. It might go down a little more. So you should be seeing somewhere between a 6 and 9% drop in your total bill come February 1st, and that's a good thing for everybody.
Looking to see if I can find some current pricing. You had mentioned gasoline prices, and they should be moving in about the same curve. West Texas crude. The heck is that noise?
What noise? Are you hearing things?
I think it's Monta's computer. It's my phone is making noise. All right. Anyway, so I'm looking.
I'm hearing things all the time.
I always get blamed here.
Make that noise stop. The Tapas, I'm looking at the Tapas crude prices, West Texas crudes, and they generally follow the same curve. Although Tapas is obviously more expensive than West Texas crudes. Between summertime and late September, they were both moving kind of in the same direction, same peaks, same valleys, and moving down at the same time within a fairly narrow range. West Texas crude trading yesterday at $55.07. Tapas at $67.39 is where those are. I don't get the method, the madness behind the way prices go up and down at the gas stations, but they operate, I suppose, on a different kind of levelized curve than GPA will.
Right, and they have two other things that the GPA doesn't have to worry about. They have to make a profit.
Yeah, there's that.
It only needs to cover its costs, right? And then recently, we increased the liquid fuels tax. So that has increased the retail end price to us consumers. The hope is that additional liquid fuels tax will fix more roads. But when you look at price comparisons, that's the two things I looked at, is one, the profit margin that a gas station has to maintain, and number two, in the last 18 months, there was an increase in the liquid fuels tax, which raised everybody's gas prices. The oil companies aren't responsible for raising taxes. That's our government's decision, but they have to pass it on, and that's, you and I we all end up paying for that. So, but oil has fallen, and to me, oil has fallen much more dramatically, and because of GPA, we're able to levelize it. So you look at it every day, right? Which is sort of like theoretically you could price energy every day, but it'd be a nightmare. We levelize it. We average it out. We average out highs and lows, and we make 6-month adjustments. Hawaiian Electric does it every month. Some other places do it every quarter. You can kind of pick your poison, but you're always trying to adjust for that cost of oil, because that oil is going to cost you no matter what. But it has trended down. At one point, we had advanced $17 million on behalf of the ratepayers. We should have raised the LEAC back in 2017 and 2018, but we said, let's just try to hold it. It's a very difficult situation for our ratepayers, and we've held it successfully since May of 2018. And when we get to January 31st, 2020, we will have recovered all $16 million without having to move that LEAC. That's where levelizing highs and lows works in the favor of the ratepayers, and that's why we do it the way we do it. And we're happy to pass on the good news that management is recommending a reduction in the power bill, and we're asking them to see if they can squeeze out a little more. But we will be sending a recommendation to the to the PUC after next Tuesday's meeting to lower that LEAC effective February 1st when the next adjustment takes place.
Are you running again in 2020?
No, the people at Guam were good enough to me to give me 4 more years last year, so I have 3 years more. Commissioner Guthertz and Chairman Duenas are up; their seats are up for re-election in the coming next year, a year from now. Are you thinking about next year's elections already?
Oh yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Oh, I did long conversation. Oh, it was terrible. One of these conversations where I got people picking my brain and wondering, asking whether I think so and so is going to be, going to be able to get back into the legislature, and who ought to be running for the legislature. And that's a question that maybe I had to pose to you. Outside of present company, can you think of anybody that maybe has got some political capital that needs to get spent finally?
Well,
Republican or Democrat?
Well, I think the bigger challenge for me, and I'm not meaning to dodge the question, is as long as it's a full-time legislature, you're going to limit the number of people that would want to seek public service.
Concur.
And if you look at all the boards and commissions, including ours, which is elected, but I'm not there full time. I can't, I don't quit my job to be on the CCU. And then you look at your civic boards, the Red Cross, American Cancer, the United Run. There are very talented people on Guam that could help us make public policy. But currently, a full-time legislature requires you to quit those jobs to try to help. And I think we limit the talent pool to our demise, or it hurts us because we make it a full-time job. So someone that you might think, or you and I might think might be a great candidate, the first question is, you're a great candidate. Are you willing to quit what you're currently doing and go 100% to be a legislator? And I, having been around and, for a long time, having been in the legislature, I'm not convinced that a full-time legislature is going to be any worse. And clearly, we have challenges with solving our problems. And I think part of it is because we limit the talent pool that might otherwise be available. Whereas when you look around Guam, we have very talented people doing many, many things on a part-time basis.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see that talent say, look, would you commit to serving in the legislature? Maybe extend the terms. I would go to a longer term. I would go back to 21 senators. I would say, here's 4 years. I like this idea of 2 terms max, so you get 8 years in the legislature, so that you're there to help, but you're not there to make a living out of it, and you're not as dependent on some of those types of variables, right, to keep your job, right? Because you never lost your job. You just volunteered for a challenging job, but it's on a part-time basis, and go to longer terms, more, go back to 21. I'm okay with that. But make it part-time so that more people can run. I've always wondered, why can't a school teacher run for the legislature? Why does Senator Paris have to quit her job as a school teacher to be a senator? And she's proving to be quite capable, in my view. And yet we lost a good teacher while we're at it. So, is there a way that when you look at Guam, you see a lot of success being done by part-time focused groups that are either supporting a civic function or a CCU. I mean, we manage two very difficult processes, 2 processes that are life-serving to our citizens, and yet we do it on a part-time basis.
Yeah, and you get to keep your job at the laundry.
Right, and I don't want to be paid any more than I'm paying. I mean, we all do it as a labor of love. We for $1,000 for $500 a month to go through what we go through at GPA and 500 more at GWA. Some people always ask me, why do you do it? I said, well, this is my home, and I refuse to believe we can't provide energy and water to ourselves. But I don't need to do it for $50,000, $80,000, $100,000 a year. You pay me a stipend, I'll show up. Because I want to make sure my kids and grandkids and my businesses and my friends and family members on this island have power and water, and I'm committed to it, just like people are committed to the Red Cross.
I suspect, Cy, that there might be some legislation moving around here before too much longer that does exactly what you're talking about and takes it to a part-time legislature. I'd like to see 21 again as well. I thought it was great. I thought there was an incredible amount of diversity of thought and diversity of characters in a 21-head legislature, and I don't see why it needs to be twice as expensive as what we've got now. 6:55, I got to run. You have a good weekend. Enjoy the golf.
You too, my friend. You too. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Simon Sanchez from the Consolidated Commission on Utilities, and that's the good news. Is it looks like there's going to be some variables in the cost of the crude oil that goes into the burning places over at the Power Authority. Could make a difference. Won't see it for a while, but that's all right. You just know that it's going to be happening out there if the oil continues moving in the direction that it does. 6:55 in the morning. It is the Ray Gibson Show until I don't know, what are we talking about? 10 o'clock? Is that when the show ends today?
You had me at golf.
It's all right. Okay, I'm not a golfer.
Yeah.
Ray Gibson is not a golfer. Among many things that I am not,
You would be a natural for the game.
No, I suck at it. No, I suck at
No,
golf.
if you really bear down, you would be in it because you've got a slim build, fairly long arms, so you'd be able to get some
the beard.
and you could get some good club head motion going, and actually you'd be pretty good at golf if you just focused on it for about 6 months.
Yeah, I got to work. I got a job for a living. Vince Duenas is online. I see Xavier at the league. Wait a second. There's a whole bunch of people that chimed in.
Advertising deals are done on a golf course.
Yeah, I hear that, buddy. Lynn Vince, Borja Polino, Anne-Marie Sablon Trousseau is online. Nick Perlowski wants us to hire the Pinkertons. Or was that Ismail? Jeff Pleadwell from over at Jeff's Pirates Cove. Jeff! What's the deal for Thanksgiving? What are you doing for Thanksgiving down at Pirates Cove? Are you cooking up some turkeys there? Are you throwing a couple of interesting things in the menu?
I tell you what, Jeff is probably going to have some really, really wild pictures coming from over his parts next week.
Don't talk about
Jeff's.
He's talking about Jeff's parts.
I did again. My bad.
Dale Audette saying good morning. All Yoich Van Gill says, I thought you were wearing a suit today, but it's a sweater. Must be cold there. The size of I'm currently wearing a medium shirts these days, and I like a medium tank top these days.
It is freezing cold here.
I like it to be cold in the. I don't like to sweat when I do this job here. There's enough stuff that'll make you sweat. Dave Chargaloff, Vince Duenas, as I said, Xavier at the league, Rico Blanca, Flor, Rhea Babauta Garrido is online. Havaru Stir saying morning all, and Kevin Canetta, Joey Charfris, cousin Teddy up at the ranch. Who controls the oil prices from going up is an interesting question. That's generally like to think that has to do with supply and demand at a global level. Tricia Lee Torres Candoletta is online this morning. Is this an on-island call or an off-island call? Can't tell from where you are and from what I'm seeing these days. Who else is there? Jose Martinez. Our pal Doris, Running Doris, is online, and so is Ron and Cindy De La Rosa, Carlos Barreto, Tammy GS. That's Tammy from over at the post office, and I gotta hand it to your guy. There was I don't have a post office thing I don't have a what do you call it, a mailbox at my house.
Well, there are cluster boxes
available
in Zonia if you want one.
I don't want to talk about cluster boxes, but so I don't have one of these things, and so it was either Saturday or something last week, and I hear a horn honk outside, and it's mailman, dun, 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 and I said, it's my father's outside because that was his signature. Dun, 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 and I opened the window and it was the mail guy. And like I said, I don't have a mailbox at the house. I take my mail here at the office. And the guy says, "Oh, this is where you are." I said, "Yeah." It's one of those things where we had the address, but there's no markings on the house, no mailbox or anything like that. But the mailman still managed to find me and drop off a very, very important letter. He's the guy that dropped off the card from the bone marrow registry, and he was worried they wouldn't be able to find me. But I guess he asking around, and they said, "Yeah, he lives down there." So Tammy, great job with the guys, and especially the dude that handles Raymond Sanchez Street. Lawrence J. El Cairo is online. I see Gwen Timinglo, Jan Mabini, and Ruben Mortera. Huffa Bill Chaco, and there's Casper and Connie Ferger-Dutkowitz online. A big crowd this morning, and as usual, we like to say, make sure that you tell friends and neighbors and family and friends all over the place about this program on this radio station. We're 93.3 KUSG Agana. This is The Point. Stand by for Fox News Live. On the other side of that, Montesilva Tyron will have news for you from the Guam Daily Post. Jerry Roberts going to be in the studio because he likes to do the extra point from in here in front of these microphones, so be listening for that. We'll take a look at what's going on in the markets. Are we into some kind of record territory for any of the markets? We'll find out in a second. And Director Cho has found the program this morning. Nice to see you, Hannah. 7 o'clock in the morning. This is The Point.
This is a Fox News alert. The open impeachment hearings are ending. I'm Lisa Brady. The last one scheduled, at least, just winding down with 2 witnesses. Fox's Jared Halpern live on Capitol Hill. We lost Jared. He filed this.
The embassy official who overheard a phone call between President Trump and EU Ambassador Gordon Sondland in July is telling lawmakers what he heard.
The president's voice was loud and recognizable. And Ambassador Sondland held the phone away from his ear for a period of time, presumably because of the loud volume.
David Holmes says President Trump asked about investigations. Later, Holmes asked Sondland if President Trump cared about Ukraine. Holmes says Sondland replied he cares about big stuff like the Biden investigation. Sondland testified yesterday he did not dispute the call, but has no recollection of mentioning the Bidens. On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Well, Republicans are rejecting testimony that President Trump abused his power by pressuring Ukraine for a political favor.
They got the call, they got the meeting, and they got the money, and there was never an announcement of any type of investigation.
Ohio Republican Congressman Jim Jordan, but Washington Democrat Denny Heck accuses Republicans of big lies.
But here's the big truth. The president did it. He did it.
The White House says Democrats are motivated by a, quote, sick hatred for President Trump. Meantime, the president holding a meeting with Republican senators, a lunch, including some moderates who could be key in any potential Senate trial. Senator Susan Collins of Maine just releasing a statement that today's lunch was about a wide range of issues, primarily, she says, legislation to address the high cost of prescription drugs, potential FDA regulations of vaping products, and government funding bills. On Wall Street, stocks finished lower, the Dow down 55 points. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey, what's that?
A Subway Big Hot Pastrami.
My Big Hot Pastrami?
No, my Subway Big Hot Pastrami. Get your own.
Get your own Subway Big Hot Pastrami. Tender, juicy beef on freshly baked sunflower crunch bread, topped with pickles and mustard. Finish off your meal with all new seasoned potato wedges, baked to perfection right in the restaurant. Both available for limited time only. Subway, make it what you want.
Want to grow your business? Start a new venture? Or stay ahead of the competition? You can.
With Docomo Pacific Smart Business Solutions tailored to your specific needs and ambitions, you can do it all. Partner with a network with best-in-class network coverage, state-of-the-art communication platforms, and a team dedicated to providing you with premium support. Call 688-2677 to start your journey to success today. Docomo Pacific Business, delivering your future today.
The Israeli prime minister is now charged with corruption, and he claims it's politically motivated. Fox's Gernal Scott has this live.
Well, Lisa, Benjamin Netanyahu is rejecting the charges of bribery, fraud, and breach of trust he faces. That includes allegations of taking hundreds of thousands of dollars in gifts and favoring regulators for some state business. After the Israeli election last April, where he and his opponent both failed to secure a clear majority, Netanyahu calls this charge or these charges attempted coups. The illegal matter does not require he step down, but a conviction could mean a long prison term. There is the possibility he could avoid prosecution through parliamentary immunity, but that may take many months to secure, Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. A bill to provide more time to file charges or lawsuits over sexual abuse is on its way to Pennsylvania's governor. The House sent that statute of limitations bill to the governor on an overwhelming vote today, along with legislation that would invalidate confidentiality agreements aiming to keep child sex abuse victims from talking to investigators. In Oklahoma, the state attorney general appeals a ruling against Johnson & Johnson in an opioid lawsuit.
Mike Hunter says Judge Thad Balkman correctly determined Johnson & Johnson's culpability in the opioid crisis, but disagrees with the price the company should have to pay. Hunter arguing the $465 million judgment only covers 1 year of the state's plan to clean up the public nuisance that the judge found Johnson & Johnson created. Expert witnesses testifying it could take up to 30 years or more for Oklahoma to recover. The company also plans to appeal the award. Johnson & Johnson previously asked the judge to reduce the amount based on pretrial settlements that the state reached with other drug makers. Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
Recapping the lower day on Wall Street, the Dow down 55 points, slipping under 27,800. Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
As the busy holiday season approaches, the last thing on your mind is to visit your medical provider. At American Medical Center, we put your health first. A preventative visit will ensure a healthy holiday season. Call 647-8262, and together we can address any concerns you may have and make certain all your medications are current. From our family to yours, happy holidays from American Medical Center, your partner in healthcare.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Lights, camera, fajita! Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors, featuring the new all-star cast, the grilled stuffed avocado with southwestern shrimp topped with Santa Fe sauce, cilantro, limes, and queso fresco. Or the Monterey chicken, juicy chicken breast topped with barbecue sauce, mixed cheese, bacon, diced tomatoes, and chopped green onion, all served on a sizzling skillet with warm flour tortillas. Experience bold, sizzling fajita limited-time flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here, located at the Two Montans Plaza, 2nd floor.
Day and good morning, Guam. It's 7:06. I'm Mana Silva Tyron, and here are some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The man seen in a video circulated by police in connection with the rape of a teen this week says he's not the guy. Police concur and say that the man was questioned and has since been cleared. GPD spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau also noted that a recent photograph of a man wearing a long-sleeved blue shirt taken from the Papa's Store indoor video camera is not a suspect. The man in the video shot did reach out to the Guam Daily Post, saying that the video being shared has frightened his family. Additionally, he did share information about another man with police whom he believes is a perpetrator. He also says that the man may have already fled to Chuk. Police say that they are looking for the suspect wanted in the rape of the 13-year-old girl. The suspect described as being possibly Chukese. Anyone with information should call GPD. An internal memo has been distributed to all of Department of Corrections personnel, and while it outlines the division of administrative and operational duties within the management team, it also states some operational changes that will take place. The memo, signed by Acting DOC Director Joe Carbolito, addresses 4 issues. First, Carbolito will be responsible for overseeing the operations of the department with the advice and recommendation of the warden and the command staff. Scheduling and flexibility to adjust regular days off will be the responsibility of platoon commanders with the input of unit managers, and the Special Operation Response Team, or SORT team, has been reinstated, and personnel will no longer be allowed to work more than 16 hours per day, and they'll also be afforded some rest time. According to the governor's policy director, Carlo Branch, Director Brennan remains as the head of DOC, and the memo is merely to outline the division of administrative and operational duties within her management team. Meanwhile, the front office does say that DOC overtime payments will also be up to date by the end of today. The criminal trial for the Jotnya Mayor Jesse Blas has been moved to February next year. District Court Judge Francis Tirinko Gatewood approved the defense's motion to delay the trial. Blas has been charged with 6 counts of extortion under the color of official right and 7 counts of bribery. He pleaded not guilty to the charges and continues to be held in jail pending his trial. The mayor is accused of accepting cash bribes from a confidential source who's been cooperating with the government in another unrelated criminal case. Blas is alleged to have used mailboxes at the Jotnya Mayor's office to assist in a drug trafficking operation. Jury selection and trial scheduled to begin in February of 2020. We'll have more news after this.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
'Tis the season to be feasting. Indulge the fun way at Sandalo Club's Donut Dash 2K 5K on Saturday, November 30 at Tizan Complex. Race starts at 6 a.m. There will be cash prizes, and the first 300 finishers get a free coffee mug, perfect for dunking those donuts you will get when you register. The more donuts you eat, the better you'll do. The Donut Dash registration fee is $15. Register online at guamdonutdash.eventbrite.com or call 488-9028. A portion of the proceeds will benefit the Guam Police Department.
Governor Lilian Guerrero has appointed Michelle Lastimosa to serve as the new deputy administrator of the Guam Environmental Protection Agency. Lastimosa serves as an environmental health specialist 3 at EPA. Her appointment takes effect on November 25th. Lastimosa graduated with a bachelor's degree in biology from the University of Guam and has held numerous environmental-related positions, including one at EPA and at Public Health. The new deputy administrator also worked as an environmental engineer at DZSP. Bank of Hawaii is warning of fraudulent telephone calls being made to customers and non-bank customers. The scammers are spoofing the real Bank of Hawaii call center number, which appears on recipients' caller IDs. The caller states that he or she is from the Bank of Hawaii's fraud center and asks for the recipients to verify certain personal information, such as social security numbers, date of birth, and request for their debit card PIN numbers. Bank of Hawaii says it doesn't call or email or even text message customers requesting such information, and so they are asking folks, if you get these calls, to hang up immediately and contact the Bank of Hawaii. And those are some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Here now is Ray with your weather.
All right, thanks very much. I was just looking over that map of the winds to see what we've got coming in right now. Partly sunny and breezy with isolated showers and thunderstorms. Going golfing this weekend, Simon says that's going to make the golf balls curve around a little bit more than you want them to. Winds out of the east up to 25 miles an hour today. Gusts possibly up to 35 miles an hour in some showers. Decreasing slightly each night. Highs near 88 degrees and overnight lows should be about 77 degrees. Sunset tonight, 5:50. Tell the others. And the recommendation, if you're going to be watching the sunset from the Tumon area, is get in early. It is like that Thursday, Fridays down in Tumon, and traffic will begin building up from over at the Hilton, and do slow going all the way till you pass the Hyatt area. And that's all the good sunset beaches that you're going to spot. So try to get into a position early. My recommendation is you leave for the beach now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
just get in there right now and enjoy it. We'll take a look at the weather radar. Duke Sky Talkers got all prepped up for this. What do you see?
Well, we got more of those little ripples of energy moving through in the trade wind surge flow, and of course that brings along showers. You still got plenty of moisture out there. The dry air actually kind of behind.
I'm not
all
showing
of
what
surge.
I need to show. There we go.
It's all right, no worries. And so we can see that had a few showers move through during the first hour of the morning drive. We'll have a few more, but it looks like this will taper off as we go through the morning and into this afternoon. I'll show you that on satellite because it looks like we've got some dry air coming in behind it, and you can see the pinks and the blue there, and so things should clear out a little bit. But that'll take this afternoon. Of course, this quite literally is what you're looking at is one of the pushes of surge that's coming through. We're going to have waves of surge coming from this huge high-pressure area that's off to the north. And, of course, we're in talking about pressure gradients because we have a kind of a semi-permanent low pressure down to the south. And we're going to be going through this for about the next 4 or 5 days at least. Yeah, did you want to go over to the wind thing and
let's
talk
do that,
about that some more?
I like the imagery on this because I think it helps people be able to see what we're talking about when we talk about why there's going to be so much wind happening. Here, let me just move the cursor a little bit closer to where Guam is, and you can see the different colors here. You're talking about the wind flow and the white lines, but I keep looking at the shades of green that we've got here, which will indicate a little bit more of the speed that the winds are coming in at.
That's right, absolutely. And of course, for a bit of a color estimate or a key, if you will, look up at the very tight swirly thing up at Taiwan. That is Tropical Storm Feng Wang, and you can see some oranges in there. So when the winds get really strong, they will change color on this map. We do have the greens and the yellows that are coming over us right now. That's indicative of those 20, 25 mile per hour winds. You can see the first surge is well past us now, almost to the Philippines, but we have a heavier coating of those lines now moving in from the east. That is the secondary surge. It is coming in on the heels of these showers that are moving through. This kind of thing is going to be going on all weekend long, so we'll see things clear out this afternoon. Then maybe tonight the winds will pick up again, the rain will pick up again, another surge will come through, keeping the winds strong. Again, for us on land, not really a big deal. Makes for great kite flying, kind of difficult Gulf weather. But if you got any plans for the water sports, you need to be really careful, especially on the east side, and especially in the next week, because some of the forecasts talking for maybe 20-foot waves out on the windward shores next week.
That means that Jeff and his team over at Pirates Cove are going to be busy pulling people out of the water again. 7:14 in the morning, that's news and weather together here on The Point.
Half a day. Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. I'm Jade Uggan of Umatic, and this is where I start my day. Listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Protehi itanonmo. Protect your land. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show being brought to you by the guys over at American Water Tech, a passion for improving lives through better water. Guam Regional Medical City, the first stop in your specialty care needs. And, of course, everybody over at American President Lines, APL, global presence, and a local home.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
.16 and Ray Gibson Show. What is it, Friday morning? Yeah, buddy, let's hear it for Friday. It's made it all the way through the weekend, counting down the weekend, and there's a ton of stuff that needs to get done this weekend. A lot of sports activities. If you got kids in any kind of league, chances are pretty good that they're going to be on a field or a court somewhere this weekend. We'll talk about that. Jerry Roberts got the extra point lined up in just a few minutes, and we'll take a look at what happened on the markets before we do anything else and see where all of that ended up. You might have heard the lady on the Fox News talking about how the markets are down. They did, moving in red mode. S&P 500 at 3103.54. That's off by almost 5 points. The NASDAQ shaved off 20 points of worth of value, 8,506, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average at 27,766, still over 27,000. They peaked earlier in the week at 28,000 plus, off by about 55 points to close again at 27,766. The FTSE is down by 23 points. Nikkei off by 109 points. They're at 23,038 for those of you that have maybe an index. And I used to have one. I sold it off years ago because things weren't looking at all that good in the Japanese market, just wasn't bringing in any money. But you can buy indexes that are based on these different markets here. Nikkei, again, 23,038. Hang Seng at 26,466. Off by 422 points. They're biggest losers on the markets today, off by 1.57%. Shanghai Index at 2,903. They're off by 7 points. And the DAX is down by 20 points as well to close at 13,137. You take a look at the commodities. One time to look at gold here just for fun, $14.65. If you're buying an ounce of gold, that's off by about $8, almost $9. And West Texas crude moving up wildly here today. It was $55.07 yesterday. Today, West Texas crude trading at $58.43. That's a
say it ain't so, right?
It's $3.36 fatter for a barrel of West Texas crude. Good news for us. Tappas moving in the opposite direction. 739 yesterday. 65.72 for Tappas crude today. So off by $1.67. Like I said, not so bad with the other one. GPA projects its price drop, but that's based on a couple of different finance counselors. We talked with Silo a bit about.
Based on West Texas.
It is based on West Texas crude and, whatever the 10-day rolling average of all of that is going to end up being. But the longer-term projection is that the prices are going to continue to go down. And I'd shown earlier a graphic of what it looked like. I don't think I've got it still up on the screen here that you might be able to take a look at. Maybe, but I was looking. There it is. This is what we've got here on the screen is what Tappas and West Texas were looking like not that long ago. It is 4 weeks into September of 2019. So that's the way it looked. You can see that they kind of run parallel to each other in the ups and downs, even though one day one might be ahead than the other, and the other one might be offset by just a little bit. But you can see the fairly narrow range that it was trading at between about $73 and as low as, for that time period, as low as about $61, $62.
Now, you mentioned the index funds.
Yeah.
Do you know who was a big proponent of that?
Who that?
Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett used to say that if you go and get a Standard & Poor's, an S&P 500 index fund, that for years and years and decades it outperformed the market.
You just leave it, buy and hold.
Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Buy it and leave it alone.
Buy and hold it. I've got most of what I'm doing these days is buy and hold. Although I had a conversation with at least one financial planner who I like. As it turns out, we kind of saw each other kind of eye to eye. And normally I would be fairly conservative with my investing. And he says, how much longer are you going to live, Gib? And I thought, well, that's a good question. Maybe I need to be a little bit more aggressive with my investments and make money faster, see if I can grow those dollars faster over a short amount of time.
A portion of that. Some aggressive, some not so aggressive. And you mentioned my friend Simon in golf.
Yeah.
Simon Sanchez and golf. It's an interesting combination. Simon has a swing that is a work of art. Abstract art, but it's a work of art.
It is some kind of work of art. I don't know. I tried. I might have mentioned this a couple of times before, and Mike makes a good point. The deals are done on the golf course. You want to go sign somebody up on an annual, or you want to get a good price on a house or something like that.
Right there.
Yeah, you could want to do that at the golf course, right? Yeah. But I'm not a golfer, and I would just annoy the people that I was golfing with, and it would go in the opposite direction. Not only am I not going to sign an annual, I'm going to cancel whatever contracts we got now, because I can't believe that you're one of these guys that 11 strokes to the green and you're down in 10. We've got other holes to play here. It's not just one. So I avoid it.
Yeah, I grew up as a caddy, so I learned my lessons.
Yeah.
Before I ever got on the course to swing. I knew how to do it.
I mean, I understand the concept. It's not rocket science. You take a stick and you hit it with the ball, and different sticks do different things to the ball, and you're supposed to move on from there. But
and when you can't do it with a stick, you pick it up and you throw it.
That's right. It's a hand wedge is what we call that. 7:21 in the morning. Jerry Roberts in the studio. A couple of things that I think are interesting. Do you know what your employees are up to most of the time? Do you have a pretty good handle, a pretty good bead on what it is that your guys are doing?
Absolutely not.
No. I have cameras. We wait until something goes wrong, and then we look at the camera to see who it was that was stuffing their pockets with money out of the cash register. There's a story came out the other day. Former McDonald's employee Cody Bondarchuk is being hailed a hero after he revealed in a now viral treat that he secretly gave out extra chicken McNuggets for 2 years while he was working at the place. Unbeknownst to Ronald McDonald, the 26-year-old from Edmonton, Canada, says he would put an extra nugget in every 10-piece box when he was employed at the fast food chain from 2007 to 2009.
My goodness.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? From the pilferage, from the lost side, that's a bad thing. But imagine the smile on a customer's face when they get home and they got a 10-piece box and it's got 11 pieces in it.
Yeah, most customers probably never knew.
They're scarfing it down.
They just scarf it down, have no idea. Was it 9? Was it 11? Was it 13? Was
I'd
it
be
6?
upset. I'm out of sauce.
And if they were counting calories.
I'm out of sauce before I'm out of chicken McNuggets.
I swear I ate.
Anyway, so you got that. You got that. And
but wait a second. So he admitted this, right?
Apparently doesn't work at that McDonald's anymore for whatever reason. I don't know whether he quit or whether
it was post he made or something.
Some kind of post on that.
He's not being prosecuted by this, not being chased down by the McDonald's Corporation.
Not that I know of. You figure after a couple of years and X number of nuggets that have been sold, that might actually amount to a decent amount of money.
Might be a felony.
Simon Sanchez, listening to the broadcast, says, "I heard that, Fanihi." Unfortunately, still an accurate description. It's the playing that matters the most. Play
yes,
play as best as you can in the things that you enjoy. And I will say this about golfing is I thought it was. Because I used to do it with my classmates because they're the only ones that would tolerate me. So it was a day out in the sunshine with your best buddies and cold beer. And I don't know, what is it? A bad day on the golf course is still better than a good day at work is what some guys say. You can say that about going fishing as well, and we need to get around to doing one of those things. 888-8255-888-TALK. We'll jump into it a little bit early. Jerry Roberts has got today's Extra Point, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and the team over at First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
Would you like to get over a bad day in 5 minutes? In the next 3 minutes, we'll see if something I picked up could be a 5-minute ticket to feeling better. That's up next on the Extra Point.
When's the last time you looked at your homeowner's insurance?
A homeowner's policy protects much more than just your house. It also protects you against claims from someone being hurt on your property. If a visitor is injured at your place, how much are you covered for? The smart thing to do is get the answer today.
That's the Insurance Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today by calling Guahan Insurance Services at 475-1162 or visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center in Tamuning.
Ever notice how that one perfect holiday gift is just out of reach? Or how sales on the stuff you want all come at the same time? This season, plan ahead with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. Now you can afford to be nice without being naughty. For more details, visit FHB.com or any branch to apply. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
We all have bad days. Conventional wisdom says to just put on our big boy or big girl pants and suck it up. Roll with the punches, they say. Tomorrow will be better. Some people buy into that, while others are found sulking in self-pity over minor troubles, rejection, and the fact that sometimes life just ain't fair. The problem with this is that the longer we sulk, the deeper we sink into a negative mindset. That makes productivity and happiness almost impossible. So what can we do? I picked up an article that discussed how to deal with this in just 5 minutes. Had a couple of good points, and I added some things, so let's see what you think about it. The first step is to know thyself. What are the things that set me off? Will a coworker's behavior do it? Will bad or rude drivers do it? How about an indifferent clerk in a store? Maybe somebody on Facebook flames one of your posts and won't go away. Whatever our triggers are, it helps to be aware of them. If we're in a situation and things seem to be heading in the wrong direction, recognizing our personal feelings may allow us to get control of our emotions and push off the negativity and distraction. About 20 years ago, I met author Stephen Covey, who wrote the international bestseller, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He was one of the main speakers at a leadership event, much like the recently held Live to Lead conference. I'd been invited to attend and enjoyed a brief conversation with him before he took the stage, then a longer one following his presentation. That day, he revealed a concept that I felt was extraordinary. It's incredibly powerful, but shockingly simple. Here it is, as he presented it that day. Between stimulus and response lies a place that we and we alone control. It is the decision on how to respond. One more time. Between stimulus and response lies a place that we and we alone control. It is the decision on how to respond. That decision is ours. If someone yells at you, you have choices. You can yell back at them. You can calmly address them. You can remain silent. You could even smile and walk away. It's up to you. You have the power to escalate the situation or calm it down. You have the power. That's how it goes with getting over a bad day. We have choices. We can choose to spiral out of control into negativity or to rise above it and decide how to deal with whatever we're facing. One key to dealing with it effectively is not to make a temporary problem bigger than it actually is. All right, what's happening right now isn't good. I hate it. Still, my long-term prospects are good. I lost a big client. It's going to hurt. Tomorrow, I'll start working on adding 2 new ones. How much will this matter 10 years from now or 25? Is it best for me to do that sulking right now and feel sorry for myself or apply the future perspective that I'm going to be just fine? How long will it take to run through this small exercise? Yeah, 5 minutes or less. It's not going to prevent us from having difficult days, but it will enable us to handle them better. That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
Is it going to matter in a year? Will it matter in 6 months? Will it matter in 10 minutes?
Most of the time, not at all.
Yeah. That's generally the way I look at things. I tend not to get very excited about a whole lot. I'm not one of those kind of drama guys. I'm more interested in the plot than I am the drama. And most of the time, what is in front of you is nothing but drama. So if you separate all of that and get rid of some of the emotional claptrap and just see it for what it is, generally it's easier to move on, I think.
Yeah, and for coaching clients that I've got, I run through this exercise with most of them eventually, and we talk about this kind of thing. You're going to have employees. These are managers. Yeah. You've got employees, and they're going to have bad days. They're going to react in different ways that you may not find appropriate. Again, how are you going to deal with it? Okay, you're going to come down with a hammer. You're going to talk to them and run them through this exercise and say, look, is this going to matter, a year from now, a month from now? Take a breath.
But the other thing is detect it is the other thing. Make sure that you've got a pretty decent eye for what's going on. You got an employee that's normally in a pretty good mood most of the time, and all of a sudden you notice for a couple of days they've been kind of sour and quick to snap and things like that. Find out what their problem is before it becomes your problem. That's right, bosses. That's the important thing. 7:29. Jerry Roberts in the Extra Point. What are you going to be doing all weekend long? You going to go follow Simon around the golf course?
Well, there it is. My agenda is set.
That ought to be a thing. We ought to do that.
If I'm doing that, the one place I won't have to be is in the fairway.
Let me see if I can put this together. I've been talking about the Ray Gibson and what is it? Tony Babauta, Ray Gibson, Tony Babauta. There was somebody else that I wanted to invite. Oh, Michael Sinicolas. So the three of us, a beer and barbecue summit. We ought to include now a golf, beer, and barbecue summit. I mean, just make a whole day of it. We show up and we'll do 18 holes of golf, and then we'll go someplace and drink a whole bunch of. Well, it's not hard. I mean, it's not like I've got to, just get in there.
It's not hard, he says.
No, it's you just look. You just decide. Okay, Ray, you've had 3 shots at the ball, and it's still not on the green. We have to go. So we're just go to the green, and you can shoot from the outside or something like that, just to keep things moving. Because the way it always worked out when I was golfing was there was always like a foursome of angry Korean women behind us, and they would not wait until I was on the green. I was on the fairway. And they'd start stroking, going, "You've had your chance, kid. Get out of there." Anyway, I think that might be fun. We'll do it on the golf course, turn into beer, and then barbecue.
Get video.
We'll barbecue. We'll barbecue some veggies just for you. How about that? 7:31 in the morning. It's the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point, and about time for us to get caught up with some headlines brought to you by Auntie Lolita Kemet over at Diamond Remax Realty. There's buying, there's selling, there's renting. Whether you want to rent or you want to rent something out, she is the lady to talk to because she knows where all the great deals are. You can find her at 688-6743. Again, Lolita Kemet at 688-6743. Now, time for headline news with news from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Montecillo Tyron.
Junior Mayor Jesse Blas was set to go to trial next month, but that trial has been pushed back to February. The court granted his request to delay the trial so his attorney can better prepare. Blas will remain in jail until then. He's charged with bribery and official misconduct after allegedly participating in a drug trafficking operation in his village. Sam Brennan is still on leave, but she will keep her position as DOC's director in charge of administrative functions, though, at the facility. A memo was circulated within DOC that outlines the operational changes that are to take place. It also details some immediate changes that are going to take place to include reduced work hours and rest time for the overworked officers and the reactivation of the SORT team. Vigilant Guard 2020 wraps up today after a week-long of exercises with Guam guardsmen and women and government emergency responders. The exercise was to test the response and readiness in the event of a super typhoon here on Guam, and by all indications, it's been going quite well. And the Guam Power Authority wants to reduce the fuel surcharge, and it could mean lower power bills. GPA will wait for the CCU to approve the proposed 10% drop before they can make the request with a PUC. And those are some of your top headlines from the Guam Daily Post. For more on these stories, pick up a copy of the Daily Post or log on to their website at postguam.com.
7:33 in the morning. That's iConnect time. Run to the nearest iConnect or call them. Here's the number, 888-8888, and ask them how to save some money on mobile push-to-talk, even internet plans with iConnect.
Lolita Kamet from RE/MAX Diamond Realty, a friendly, hardworking, and passionate RE/MAX professional who is committed to helping you make a difference in your life and helping you achieve the American dream of home ownership. She also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, military, and corporate relocation. So for all your real estate needs, call Lolita Kamet from RE/MAX Diamond Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
I saw some ugly traffic here. I was looking at the traffic gizmo up and down Route 3. It is sincerely awful from around Ukadu High School. In fact, most of it, even after you pass Swamp Road, it's ugly up Lower Estumbo. Have you ever seen the gardens at Estumbo Gardens? They're just lovely. I think around this time of year, yeah, it gets to be the fall time, and the garden, they're just everything is in bloom there, and all the fruit trees have sprouted. It's just really, really nice.
No, I've actually never been there.
At the Estumbo Gardens.
So you have to describe it as autumn. It's not fall, it's autumn.
People that live up there are laughing and spitting coffee out of their nose. 7:34.
Are you lying to me?
Yes, I'm absolutely lying. There are no gardens at Estumbo Gardens. What are you talking about? But there ought to be. We named the place Estumbo Gardens. Shouldn't there be gardens everywhere?
Here I am thinking it was like Hamamoto Gardens or... Oh, my God. I don't know why I listened to you.
All right. So anyway, traffic on Route 3 is lousy from Estumbo Gardens all the way down to the intersection of 1 and 3. It doesn't get any better once you're on Marine Corps Drive. It's going to be stop and go, usually at the intersections. Expect some delays through there over at the ITC building. Micronesia Mall and the Chicken Joy intersection. And then even further south than that, you're going to see some issues with traffic, even before you get to Santos Hill. Once you pass that, though, it clears up a little bit, and you might see a little bit more traffic at the intersection over at Kmart and JFK. Other place where you're going to see some ugly traffic, 8, 10, and 16, both directions on Route 8 before you get to that big intersection. So expect some delays through there. Not so bad through Happy Mart, but it's the intersection, and you know, I don't care how much work they've decided that they want to do on it. It's still not letting a lot of traffic through as quickly as it should, as efficiently as it should. And then you've got traffic on Route 10 making your way to the intersection. So expect some delays through there. We are predicting that it's going to be ugly Tuesday morning on route because they are energizing finally the light over by Carbolito Elementary on the way into Cañada Tortu Road. Or
I hate it already.
Right? Don't you? I've seen the guys working out there, and I'm praying that the supervisor gets a cold so that the work slows down. But it looks like
you don't want it to slow down because it's been slowing traffic like crazy for the last several weeks.
Well, imagine what's going to happen on Tuesday when they light the lights, and there's going to be a new flashing yellow signal. You've seen those, right? And they can be kind of confusing because I'm born and raised with 1, 2, 3 color lights here. It's a red and green and yellow. But now there's going to be a flashing yellow, and what that will mean
means go.
It means if there's no cars coming, it's okay to turn left. I'll give you a good example of where you can use something like that. Out in front of the radio station, right? We've got an intersection there, stupidest light in the world. It's got the absolute shortest green. Maybe we'll let one car through. But but most people just want to hang a Louis there. Or make a turn into iConnect, right. And so 4:30 in the morning when it's just me and Mike.
I run it every day.
Oh, we blow that light like you wouldn't believe. Yeah. There's no reason to stop.
What's funny though,
my traffic.
My first 2 weeks here, I sat there.
You did. I do remember that. I do remember that. And I'd go, Mike, come on in. Don't worry. There's no cars coming. Go ahead and turn left.
I don't want to be that guy. See, I don't want to be. I don't want to be the mainlander. You're coming here and breaking your laws. Those scufflaw mainlanders.
But if it's a stupid law, I say go ahead and break it. This is my rule. But anyway, so that would be a good place to have that flashing yellow lights. If there's no oncoming traffic, then go for it. So I did the same. I was trying to get to Crust last night, right after my run because I wanted to run into a couple of friends. So I'm sitting at the light in front of the old Citibank, and there's no oncoming traffic, but I've still got a red light. And as soon as I figured out the car behind me wasn't a cop. Found my spot. 7:37 in the morning.
If it's not a cop, it didn't happen.
Guilty. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, Shepard's on the line and wants to kind of school us on the whole yellow light concept.
Who?
Oh, are we in trouble?
Yeah.
What I do? I'm just going to blame.
We're about to find out.
Listen, if I said something inaccurate, blame Mike.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, no, nothing inactive, but yes, I am going to be a little didactic this morning. The technical definition, back in the state where I got my license, and I don't think 1 in 10 people could get this. Green means go, red means stop. Yellow means clear the intersection.
Clear the intersection.
Yellow means clear the intersection, and I guess that's kind of vague, and I think that's the way everyone likes it. I know I do.
Give me the vagueness. My dad taught me a phrase years ago called bridging the intersection. You'll see this usually around drive time, where the light is green and it's going yellow. The car continues to go, but it has nowhere else to go because there's cars in front of it, so they get stuck in the intersection, right?
Oh yeah, they get to wait.
What is that called?
Well, I don't know what it's called, but if you're stuck in the intersection, you legally just get to wait there till it clears, and then you go.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because you went while the light was red. Well, you could still make it, but if there's nowhere to go, you should wait until you've either got the room or the light turns red.
That's right, because you're not going backwards.
Yeah. It can't be. Bridging the intersection is what we refer to it. But clear the intersection. I'm going to go with the standard Guam line that yellow means hurry up, red's coming.
All right. Take it easy. Have a nice morning.
Well, you have a good weekend, buddy. Watch out for the winds, all right?
Take it easy.
7:39. It's the Ray Gibson Show. We'll be right back.
What's for breakfast at KFC under $3.95, you ask? What's for breakfast at KFC that's different than the other guys, you ask? KFC's chicken wrap, sausage wrap, the Colonel's chicken congee, chicken fried steak, sausage biscuit and gravy, and biscuit sandwiches made with KFC's original fluffy biscuits. All for under $3.95 and all only at KFC. Plus, with waffles and the Colonel's chicken fried rice, we've got something for everyone.
So visit KFC for breakfast today. It's finger-licking good.
I'm getting word on that as well from inside the WhatsApp here, and I'll share it with the listeners and the viewers on Facebook Live. Apparently, there's a tweet going on, some kind of breaking news. There has been a quote incident in the South China Sea. Radiation has been detected. Nuclear submarine accident. Or is it a Chinese nuke test? Need further information, and that's off a tweet that somebody sent me a screen cap of it on the WhatsApp here. I don't know what's going on. And Mike, you said you saw something about a 10 to 20 kiloton explosion.
AR15.com. Not sure of the reliability of their reporting, but they're saying a 10 to 20 kiloton explosion. And radiation, 10 to 20 kilotons would not be an accident.
No,
that would be a test.
some kind of a test, and very common. It's unusual. I don't generally hear about those things. There have not been that I'm aware of any sub in the ocean. I think for the most part, if it is the Chinese, don't they normally do that out in the Gobi Desert or someplace?
They normally do, but again, they've been wrangling in the South China Sea as their own for some time now, and this may have been one of the reasons. Plus, just a show of force saying, hey, we can get there.
Gotcha. It's 7:41 in the morning. 888-825-5888-TALK. What do we get to talk about? Speaking of just the wrangling and the saber rattling that's going on in that part of the country. I've had this story now for a few days and haven't been able to squeeze it in anywhere. But I got a feeling that this is going to be an issue. And in fact, there's a story along similar lines in one of the newspapers this morning. It'll go back a few days. U.S. demands South Korea pay $5 billion for the upkeep of U.S. troops. The story says the United States is said to have demanded South Korea pay 5 times more than it pays now to maintain the cost of troops and military activities on the Korean Peninsula. Al Bautista, what do you know about this? According to a diplomatic source, Washington demanded $5 billion from Seoul for next year during special measures agreement renewal negotiations. The source said that in 2 previous rounds of SMA talks, the U.S. has extensively explained that it's making various contributions to South Korea's defense as part of Washington's Indo-Pacific strategy and wants Seoul to pay for some of those contributions given that nation's economic growth. Incredible economic growth over the last decade, if you will. Despite the increase for peninsular defense, however, observers say that the U.S. is unlikely to call on South Korea to contribute to U.S. military operating costs in Guam or Hawaii. That's why this article caught my attention, because it mentions Guam here. South Korea, for its part, has maintained that defense costs should be shared in a reasonable and fair manner. But the interesting thing is, and like I said in one of the newspapers this morning, there is a conversation about the possibility that Trump could be pulling back several thousand troops out of South Korea.
Now, we've got folks there.
And we know people there. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to be happening with this. Trump has repeatedly been on the hunt now for all kinds of defense funds to shore up our own defense. It wasn't that long ago where he was running around Europe telling everybody on the NATO nations, we're done paying your defense bills. You guys need to kick in a lot more money and take care of your own needs. A lot of people like to look at some of these NATO nations and these European countries and say, wow, they've got such a great economy, and they seem to have all kinds of money for social programs, and everybody goes to school, and the medicine is free and all of that stuff, and the minimum wage is $75 an hour or something like that. And it is my view, and I think it's shared by a number of other conservatives, that one of the reasons why they got it so good there is because they ain't paying for their army. We are. American taxpayers have been footing the bill for a long time. Now, that might be a little bit exaggerated, but as Lulian Guerrero is fond of saying, this is the exaggeration station. 888-825-5888-TALK. Another big story that you'll see is
it's really very sensitive information.
Efforts are underway to recall Zotnya Mayor Jesse Blas with details on how you can get something like that done from the Guam Election Commission. Maria Pangilinan. Before we get into that, Maria, how was the meeting yesterday?
The meeting was canceled, and it'll take place on Monday, this coming Monday at 5:30.
Oh, I see. That's why was it canceled? Somebody didn't want to bring the biscuitsu and the donut?
Unfortunately, a couple of our commissioners were under the weather.
I see. Quick question then, but besides that, when is your Thanksgiving party in the office? Mon and I are coming by.
Oh, we're not having one.
What?
Stale.
Aw.
Stale Baleo.
Ray Gibson and I were so busy. We don't have time to have one.
Hi, Eddie.
Let us know where yours is after hours.
Ours gonna
after
be,
hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
swing by. There's happy hour. Oh, with IQ. Let's all hang out in.
Well, my happy hour starts at 9 in the morning. I don't know. Are you down?
There's this karaoke bar in Anigua. I know your people. So, Maria, there's a karaoke place in Anigua. I know your people know where it is. Just ask them. Just say we're gonna go to IQ after work on Wednesday. Okay.
I'll let them know.
Thank you. 7:45. So this guy, what's his name? Francisco Highton is petitioning the Guam Election Commission now to help him with the recall of Zotnya Mayor Jesse Blas. What steps does he have to take in order to successfully recall Mayor Jesse Blas?
So he submitted a draft petition form. So the commission, the board will take a look at it and on Monday, and the board will make a decision on it. So once the petition format is approved, he will go out and have to get 981
981. But everybody's related to Jesse Bloss. That's going to be tricky.
Well, he's going to have to go after 981 of them, so I don't know.
I can think of 2 signatures, but I don't know if they're there anymore. The ex-girlfriends will probably sign off on it. They'll probably be happy to sign off on it. So 981.
Valid.
Yes. And in Georgia, we have over 2,500 voters. So.
Okay, well, it's still a significant number. I mean, he's got to find a bunch of people that think that he has not lived up to the requirements of the job. Shouldn't be all that difficult, considering that he faces significant accusations from the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and he's currently in jail. So once he's got the 900 valid Jutnia signatures on the petition, you guys will go over the petitions?
Yes, we will. We will validate the petition.
Okay, so after the validation, then what happens?
Then we will, and then the commission, the board, and I believe the governor, I'm not so sure about it, will call for a recall election.
Okay, so recall election. Now, I'm assuming that will take place only in the village of Jutnia, and we'll only need to print about 2,500 ballots, right?
That's correct.
Now, how many people, what's required of the voters? Does it have to be a simple majority, or is it 50% plus 1?
You know, Ray, I'm not in the office, but if I recall correctly, I think it's 2/3. It may be 2/3 or 50 plus 1.
Okay.
I'm not so sure.
Okay.
I apologize.
It's a steep hurdle, though, it sounds like, for this guy Huyton to be able to do. Getting the paperwork together sounds like the easy part. 981 valid Jutnia voters will need to be identified, put their signatures on a piece of paper. It might be, a lot of people might be squeamish about doing something like that, given the nature of some of these allegations. And then there has to be an election. Would it be a fairly easy election for the Election Commission to pull off? And do you suppose we could do it without spending a whole lot of money?
Well, you know, it'll be, we'll actually have 2 elections. One a recall, and if the recall is successful,
that's right.
Then we have to have an election for whoever's going to run for whoever will be mayor.
And so far, there are at least 6 potential candidates, according to a story in today's Guam Daily News. Bill Kenga, Ethan Camacho, Cristina Perez, Ed Terlahi, Francisco Huyton, and former Mayor Ken Joe Ada, who wants to maybe put his name back on a ballot.
The last 3 haven't filed their organizational reports. The first 3 have filed organizational reports.
Right. But that's just paperwork. That's just bureaucracy. It's easy to get done, right?
Yes.
Huh.
Yes,
Okay.
Have you had any time to take a look at what this might cost the Election Commission? I know you're already strapped for cash, but I imagine 2 elections would be quite costly for you.
Even if it was just in one village, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we were throwing around some numbers, but it all depends on when. That's a hard one for us. If it's and then Ray and Mana, the magic date is March 8th, right? So if the vacancy or the recall doesn't happen,
Let me just wait for the regular
if the recall
election.
is successful, we'll keep going. But 2 elections, and you know, I checked back in the GEC archives, and Ray, correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't find any successful recalls.
I don't recall any recalls.
Yeah, I know.
In my grown-up life,
There
I
was an
don't think
attempt
so.
years and years ago.
Well, they tried to recall. I want to say, yeah, there was. I'm sure that there
That was not
have been
successful.
conversations about it. I don't know how far they've gotten. Certainly, never gone to the point of a recall election. I don't believe.
Right. Not that I can recall either.
Okay, we found one in the Talafofu mayor, but that's all I found in terms of there was a ballot for a recall election.
Yeah, I remember that guy. That was a dumpster fire. That guy. He was. I mean, just every week there was some new controversy that guy was embroiled in. So you could see where people were upset about it. So recall election is obviously not an easy process. The paperwork is fairly easy, but the rest of it is going to be kind of a challenge here. And maybe that ought to be used as fuel to underscore a conversation about Mayor Bloss just resigning his position.
Yeah, maybe it'll just take the governor or lieutenant governor to go and have a heart-to-heart with them and just say, you know, for the sake of your villagers, step down.
Yeah, I mean, there's no municipal
You're
planning
going to
council.
be behind bars till February.
In the very least, yeah.
In the very least, because you're behind bars till your trial starts. So
I don't know. And if he resigned, he would resign to you, right, Maria?
Actually, I would think she resigns to the governor, and someone would, you know, as soon as we know that there is a vacancy, that's when Guam Election Commission becomes involved.
I see. Well, it's certainly an interesting conversation. Hey, and one other thing, now we're talking about the Election Commission. You guys were named in the Dave Davis lawsuit here, and I'm kind of curious as to whether or not you guys are going to be paying the bill now that it looks like we're going to be able to at least ask for the writ of certiorari in the Supreme Court. If that's successful, does the Guam Election Commission have the funds to be able to foot the legal bills?
Actually, since the inception of the lawsuit, the Attorney General's office has been representing government of Guam, including the Guam Election Commission.
I see. So it's not your bill.
No. Fortunately for GEC, it's not.
Gotcha. Not my, as we say, not my monkey, not my circus. 7:52. Maria, you have a good weekend. I'm sorry you're not having a get together for Thanksgiving that you're allowed to tell people about.
Mana, let me know when yours is happening.
Okay, I sure will.
I'm telling you, it's an IQ after work. We'll all get together and you can sing me a song.
Hi.
888-8255. It's Friday. There's no frowny faces, and you're allowed to be extra frisky on Friday. 7:53 in the morning, and another interesting situation here. It wasn't that long ago they were going and cleaning up the road at Zero Down, and we got this place here, and Forget About It Road, where the people have been trashing the place. And apparently, the Guam EPA has decided to take a little bit more formal action and has written letters, I'm hearing, to the folks over at the Guam Land Use Commission. I'm sorry, the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission. Let me see if I get this right. Where Jack Haddock works. Good morning, Jack. How you doing?
Good morning, Ray, and that's the Chamorro Land Trust Commission.
That's what I was thinking of. All right, the Chamorro Land Trust Commission, because apparently many of your tenants down there aren't taking care of the property that you've given them.
Right.
Yep. So what's to be done about that?
Well, we did an inspection at the end of October again to follow up all of our activities that were happening in late September and early October with DPW and EPA and the mayor and public health. And so our idea was to go back in and check and see if these tenants or occupants were indeed complying with EPA's request to remove items that were considered that were not allowable there.
Yeah.
And so I know the Environmental Protection Agency contacted us and said that they would like to issue these citations or letters to the occupants, and they were already duly informed during that process. And, we're trying to help them to comply. We want our lessees and our occupants out there to comply with the law.
What happens if they don't comply? I mean, some time has passed now since the violations were noted and they were noticed on these violations. How much time do they have to clean up their act or face eviction?
Well, I think EPA gave them, if I'm not mistaken, a 30-day window to make sure that they address the situation. And if they did not address the situation, then EPA was going to issue fines directly to the lessee.
Not to you?
No, not to the land trust. No.
Okay. But it would be if there were fines, if they were found in violation, are there actions that the Chamorro Land Trust can take, either to evict them or put them on notice that they face eviction if they don't live up to the requirements of the leases that they have?
The current process that we're going through is a compliance inspection, and so we give them an opportunity. We come out and we do an inspection, and if we note the violation, they are noticed. And we give them an opportunity to clean it up. And then if, for, say, 90 days, we give them 90 days to try to take care of their whatever they need to take care of. If they haven't, then we come back and inspect again. And there is a process a AAA administrative adjudication law process that has to be taken before we evict anybody. So they are allowed to make an appeal, should we move forward with eviction. But normally we try to work with the lessee to make sure that they have some kind of progress moving forward, and then we work to that end so that they are not in violation anymore.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, in many cases, it's obviously unsightly, but then we've got problems with dengue-borne vector creatures out there that are spreading the dengue virus around the island. And then there's concerns about what might be leaching in some of these properties. These Chamorro Land Trust properties are over the aquifer, and there are concerns that there could be some weird things leaching out of whatever it is sitting in the yard into the aquifer.
Yes, the agency is currently working on trying to ascertain better language in the lease agreement, because I think that's what needs to occur. So we need to work on trying to propose better language, because it's not very specific, obviously, in the lease, and so that's what I'm trying to do is look at the lease agreements, and we're trying to see what we can do to improve them, and specifically say that junk cars and tires and white goods and batteries and stuff that can affect the environment negatively are not allowed to be stored on trust property.
Right, yeah, and let's hope that they live up to it and properly dispose of it, as opposed to just throwing it in the back of a pickup truck and dumping it somewhere else down the road on somebody else's property, which I think is habit around here these days. 7:58, Jack, have a good weekend. Happy Thanksgiving to you and the family.
Thank you. You too, Ray, you and Mana, and everybody at
Happy
the station.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. 888-8255-888-TALK. That's nice. Dave Chargaloff still around here. Jennifer Rodriguez saying, Buenas, Hafa Bernard Balahadja. There's Dave Torrey. And Dave, don't forget about the Super Sprint this weekend. You're welcome to write down details on that on Facebook Live. Let everybody know about that. Joe Cepeda is hanging out with us this morning. And looking forward to seeing some pictures. Joe's wife, PJ, is working with these kids from GCC. And they have been posting on Instagram the steady progress that they are making on the little train thing that they've got over at the Hilton. That little train show that they do around the holidays. And you've got grandbaby who's going to love going out there and seeing the trains go around the track. 7:59. Really? Already? It's 8 o'clock in the morning? Darn close to it. The radio station that you're listening to is KUSG, Hagutnia 93.3. This is The Point. And coming up a little bit later on in the program, what did Jonathan Walter do that upset his girl, Christina Lefoy-Foy? Who started smacking him on the head and scratching him in the face and doing all of that stuff. It doesn't say in the magistrate report, so we're going to have to use our imagination. What did he do? Get ready to play that game with us here on the program in just a little bit. Fox News Live's coming up. Mike and I are going to pretend to talk about sports. So you got some sports stuff that you want to send up. Do it on the WhatsApp, 988-5874. That's 988-5874. Just type it up on the Facebook Live, and I'll make sure it gets on the air. Radio station, is it? Yeah, this is The Point.
This is a Fox News alert. The impeachment hearings are over, at least for this week. I'm Lisa Brady.
This president believes he is above the law, beyond accountability.
House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff closing today's hearing a short time ago.
In the words of my great colleague, we are better than that. Adjourned.
Fox's Jared Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
Two more impeachment inquiry witnesses detailed what they viewed as political influence in crafting U.S. policy towards Ukraine, often at the direction of President Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani.
Apparent that Mr. Giuliani was having a direct influence on the foreign policy agenda that the three amigos were executing on the ground in Ukraine.
David Holmes, a political counselor at the embassy in Kyiv, detailed a phone call he overheard between President Trump and the U.S. ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland. Holmes says the focus of the president was on investigations. Fiona Hill, a former National Security Council director, said Sondland was carrying out a domestic political errand for the president. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Well, each side still digging in after the hearing.
Doesn't change the facts. There was no quid pro quo. You can't just have, we presume this was the case and it didn't happen.
Ohio Republican Congressman Jim Jordan and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi earlier today.
When we see a violation of the Constitution,
We had no choice but to act.
Still suggesting, though not guaranteeing, the goal is an impeachment vote in the House. White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham says Democrats have a rabid desire to overturn the 2016 election. Meantime, the president holding a lunch meeting today with 8 Republican senators, including some who've criticized him in the past, Mitt Romney and Susan Collins. Senator Collins says a wide range of issues were discussed, focusing in part on legislation to address the high cost of prescription drugs. America is listening to Fox News.
Hulu is all your TV in one place, plus more. Watch thousands of hit shows, movies, and award-winning Hulu originals for only $5.99 per month. It's TV without the cable contract and the freedom of on-demand streaming. Get current network shows from ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox, and binge-watch every season of your favorite cable shows. Premium Hulu viewing is brought to you by Proline Automotive and AB Sports, Guam's store for Nike. To advertise on Hulu, call Choice Digital at 989-0042.
Ever notice how that one perfect holiday gift is just out of reach? Or how sales on the stuff you want all come at the same time? This season, plan ahead with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. Now you can afford to be nice without being naughty. For more details, visit FHB.com or any branch to apply. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
A bill to avoid a government shutdown tonight passes the Senate.
The yeas are 74, the nays are 20. The motion is agreed to.
The temporary spending would keep the government funded through December 20th. President Trump is expected to sign it. He's also expected to sign a measure in support of pro-democracy demonstrators in Hong Kong. The bill would allow sanctions on Chinese and Hong Kong officials who commit human rights violations against protesters. This as trade talks with China continue.
Clearly, economic considerations are very much high in the minds of the Chinese government. On the other hand, given the way they operate, it could spur them into even tougher action here, just to show that they are not going to be dictated to by President Trump and the United States.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt in Hong Kong. China is warning the U.S. to stop interfering in its internal affairs, but that measure passed Congress almost unanimously. An effort to force presidential candidates to release tax returns to get on California's ballot is struck down.
The state legislature passed the law, and Governor Gavin Newsom signed it, requiring candidates for president and governor to release the last 5 years of their tax returns in order to appear on future ballots in the state. At a hearing earlier this month, state Supreme Court justices had tough questions for the state. One justice asked if state leaders had considered the Constitution when approving this law. And in their ruling, they write, this additional requirement is in conflict with the Constitution's specification of an inclusive, open presidential primary ballot. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The CDC now confirms 47 vaping-related deaths across the country and nearly 2,300 illnesses. This as the specific cause remains under investigation. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Make wish lists come true this holiday season with Coast 360. For a limited time, get 1% off your personal loan rate when you apply by December 31st, 2019. Loans up to $50,000 with flexible terms and no application fees. Apply online or at any member center. Terms and conditions apply. See print ad or Coast360FCU.com for details. May your holidays be merry and bright with Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. Together, we thrive.
As the busy holiday season approaches, the last thing on your mind is to visit your medical provider. At American Medical Center, we put your health first. A preventative visit will ensure a healthy holiday season. Call 647-8262, and together we can address any concerns you may have and make certain all your medications are current. From our family to yours, happy holidays from American Medical Center, your partner in healthcare.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Day and good morning. It's 8:06. I'm Mana Silva Tyron with some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The criminal trial for Jotnya Mayor Jesse Blas has been moved to February 4th, 2020. District Court Chief Judge Francis Tidenko Gatewood approved the defense's motion to delay the trial. Blas is accused of assisting in a drug trafficking operation in his village and faces charges of official misconduct and bribery. Jury selection for him and trial scheduled to begin in February 2020. Meanwhile, there is an effort to remove the mayor, Jesse Blas, from his position. The Election Commission Executive Director Maria Pangilinan says when they meet next week, they will address the recall petition by Francisco Heaton. Pangilinan says before they can move forward with that, Heaton will have to get 981 valid Jotnya voters to sign a petition to recall Blas. There are at least 6 people interested in running for the seat, 3 of whom who've already filed organizational documents with the Election Commission. The Mayor's Council, meanwhile, has already asked that Blas simply step down. He remains on annual leave while he's locked up. The man seen in a video circulated by police in connection with a rape of a 13-year-old Dedido girl this week says he's not the guy. Police concur and say that the man was questioned and has since been cleared. GPD spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau also noted that a recent photograph of the man wearing a long-sleeved blue shirt taken from Papa's store indoor video camera is not the suspect. The man in the video shot did reach out to the Guam Daily Post, and he says that the video being shared has caused his family some distress. Additionally, he shared information about another man with police whom he believes is a perpetrator. The man also says that he believes that he already had fled to Chuk. Police, meanwhile, are still looking for the suspect. They say that he is described as being Chukese. Anyone with information should call GPD. That mother who was seen on a video dangling her young child over a second-floor balcony has been identified by police. 19-year-old Norianne Tommy was arrested and charged with child abuse, family violence, and reckless conduct. She's being held at the Department of Corrections. Tommy told police she held her 2-year-old daughter over the balcony to stop her from crying. She allegedly told police that the daughter was trying to climb the balcony several times, and every time the mother pulled her daughter away from the balcony, the toddler would cry. According to court documents, Tommy stated each time she held her daughter over the balcony, the child would stop crying. The prosecution alleged in court documents a police officer received a video via Instagram that first showed the mother holding her child over the outer edge of the second-story balcony by the arms. The defendant then lifted her child back over the railing to the inside of the railing. The Child Protective Services has been contacted and apprised of the investigation. We'll have more news after this.
Connecticut water treatment customers don't keep coming back. They're satisfied the first time. That's right. Connecticut non-electric water treatment systems take care of your water problems, and you won't need to keep calling us for repairs. Join the list of satisfied Connecticut customers who purchased their non-electric water systems years ago and are still enjoying clean, conditioned water without any hassles from timers or circuit boards.
American Water Tech, a passion for improving lives through better water.
Want to grow your business? Start a new venture? Or stay ahead of the competition? You can. With Docomo Pacific Smart Business Solutions tailored to your specific needs and ambitions, you can do it all. Partner with a network with best-in-class network coverage, state-of-the-art communication platforms, and a team dedicated to providing you with premium support. Call 688-2677 to start your journey to success today. Docomo Pacific Business, delivering your future today.
A convicted drug dealer who violated his supervised release by testing positive for methamphetamine use multiple times was sentenced to 15 months in prison. Benny Benavides was sentenced Thursday in the district court after he admitted to multiple violations, including failing to report for drug testing, testing positive for methamphetamine, and lying to probation officers about his drug use. He was ordered to be committed to the Bureau of Prisons or 15 months, and upon release will be placed on supervised release for 22 months. FHP Home Health getting top billing this week with the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services recently completing its audit for FHP Health Center's home health agency. FHP awarded its star rating score of 4.5 for quality patient care. This score means that FHP Home Health performed better than other national agencies on health care practices and patient outcomes. FHP Home Health highly ranked in the areas of nursing care, physical therapy, and home health aides. And Guam Community College will sign a memorandum of understanding with Korea's National Institute for International Education for the designation of GCC as the official administrator of the Test of Proficiency in Korean on Guam. The test is the official Korean government exam that tests students' proficiency in the Korean language. Exam scores are used by government, the private sector, and schools to assess potential employees and students' proficiency. And those are some of your top stories on the Guam Daily Post. Here now is Ray with your weather.
It says partly sunny and breezy today, Mana, with isolated showers and thunderstorms. Expect winds from the east 20 to 25 miles an hour, perhaps gusting to 35 miles an hour in some of these showers that we're going to be getting today. Decreasing slightly overnight. Highs near 88 degrees and overnight lows should be about 77 degrees. Now, there's going to be a sunset. It's Friday, and you know who you are. You Friday sunset hunters. You know where you need to be. 5:50 is when the sun is going to be breaking the plane. Now, I found some sunset last night. Not as spectacular as I would have liked it to be, but there was this beautiful orange glow that surrounded it. Not a whole lot by way of colors and lights and shadows and all of that, but this gorgeous glow that was the sunset last night. About 5:50 last night, about the same time tonight.
Yeah, and one thing that will actually lend a hand into some really nice sunsets over the next few days is with these high winds.
Bikinis.
They will whip up
bikinis at sunset.
Well, that too, but they will also whip up the waves and the sea spray. And so you'll get a lot of particulates in the air, and winds like that will even carry those particulates up into the 1,000, 2,000 foot level, and it will actually have an effect on terms of refracting the light and making things look a little different. So that'll be really interesting to see how that works out. Checking radar right now this morning, had a couple of rounds of showers moved through already. Looks like we got another one about to. After that, doesn't look too bad. So sun is coming up, starting to dry some of these showers out. But these are actually being caused by a surge of trade wind air that's making its way in. Really the first push of the strong winds that are coming in. Let's go to satellite real quick. We'll see what's going on there. Quite literally, you can almost see a little bow of clouds from upper left to bottom right pushing on through. That is the surge, and it's coming in from the east. Off to the east, you see the pinks in the satellite picture. That means drier air out there, so that means tomorrow morning probably going to feel really nice when we wake up. This trade wind surge is going to continue right on through next week. The big deal, really more so than the land effect, is the ocean effects. So if you have any plans on going out boating, doing any sort of seaside activities, especially out on the east side, the windward side, keep an eye to the seas and keep your ears to the weather situation, because I'm sure we will get some
small craft advisory, high surf,
warnings, and all that sort of thing. We're talking about possibly seas of 20 feet next week on the east side. So we'll see how that goes.
That's I wonder if that's going to be... Somebody find me an old fisherman. Let's find out if that's going to be good. So this is the sunset that I was talking about last night. Just about 5:50. It was on E-Pound down at Matapin Beach Park.
We have some of that particulate matter in the air, a little bit of haze in the sky. Gave us a nice little crepuscular effect there off the clouds in the distance. And those clouds aren't really thunderstorm clouds. They're just little puffy cumulus clouds. Probably see something very similar to that this evening.
Might be some there's a dragon boat thing in town. I got some friends from the Philippines. The entire team is on Guam for a big dragon boat deal that I have absolutely no information about other than that they are here. Looking to see if you've got some information on the dragon boat deal that's supposed to be happening this weekend. Bounce it to me on the WhatsApp, would you? 988-5874. That's 988-5874. It's 8:15. This is The Point.
In life, we all have the ability to make a difference, to make an impact on someone's life. As we look around us, time never stops, but we are filled with endless moments of gratitude. The art of giving is incorporated in so many different ways. At Guam Gift Baskets, we want to be able to express your gratitude and love to those who you care about. Show your appreciation with a gift made with love this holiday season. Visit our website at guamgiftbaskets.com. See the smiles, touch their hearts, feel the experience.
I'm feeling the experience now. 8:15 in the morning. This is the Ray Gibson Show, being brought to you by Take Care, offering proven wellness and fitness programs to encourage you and your family to live a healthy, balanced lifestyle. Preventative care, being active, eating right, relaxing, unwinding, and socially connecting with you and the other Zumba queens. Right, Agnes? That's the way to do it with Take Care. Also being brought to you by the guys over at American President Lines, APL, global presence and a local home. Let's go eat. It's Wendy's. They're waiting for you to swing by, and they've got a fantastic 2-for-5 deal. This is the way it works. They've got a bunch of items here. We got the spicy chicken sandwich, Dave's single, great burger, or a 10-piece nugget. And you can get either two of those three items for just $5. So you can get the nuggets and the single, or the spicy chicken and the single, or you can get the single and the nugget. However you want to combine it. It's only going to cost you $5 for both of those items. Find that for lunch or anytime at Wendy's and the American Medical Center, accepting Medicare, Aetna, and new patients. The number is 647-8262 for more information.
Rediscover talk radio here. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
What is that? What are you showing me? It's your version of sports. Okay, got it. 888-8255. Before we do that, let me just run around the Facebook Live and see who I've been ignoring. Anthony Bennett, Lujan Duenas is there, and so is Peter J. Santos. Uncle Robert Underwood is online. That is the signal to line up a phone call to him before maybe 9 o'clock, because I worry about him. Uncle Robert, there's nobody around to talk to him except Auntie Narissa, and she's always off traveling. So if we don't talk to him...
So you call him.
I call him. You got to check.
Right.
Got to check on the Manumco and the family, and Jennifer Rodriguez is there. Ray Souza, there's a name from the blast from the past. Good to see you. Gary Shawalls and Jess Mendiola, Frank Cruz, Stephen Klein is online here this morning. Who else is playing around on the Facebook? Kenny Williams, who's going to spend the rest of the day killing varmints. And I got to tell you, Kenny, it is taken. I have no more problems at my house with ants. I haven't seen a cockroach in days and days and days. And what were the other ones? Spiders was another thing. I did, because the soldier ants get into the house, and the spiders that were living in the house were eating the soldier ants, and leaving. I've got little soldier ant corpses all over the place. But since Kenny was able to come in and put whatever varmint killer he has down into the yard and into the house, I have not had a problem at all. Bernard Balahaja is online, so is Lady D, appreciating my shirt. Thanks very much. And like I said, Joy Cepeda is out there as well. Always nice to see some new names on the
I like
Facebook
your
Live.
shirt too. That's a marijuana shirt.
It's not marijuana.
Those are
bamboo. You see what you want to see. I'll see what I want to see.
I got the other shirt that I was wearing the other day. It's got the little pineapples on it, and if you blur your eyes a little bit, just make them fuzzy, it does look like marijuana. 818. The story, and it's amazing to me how few people had heard this story, considering how big it really is. Is that the House has now got a bill? The House, as in Congress, has got a bill that would remove marijuana off Schedule 1.
Yeah, we heard rumors about this happening a few months ago when the initial discussion started, and of course the speculation is that it probably would pass the first test because, quite frankly, legislators in Washington are seeing that the states are just going that direction,
kind of doing it on their own. So what they would do is they take it off the Schedule 1. They would allow the states to make their own individual decision, which is amazing considering it's coming from the House. But let them make their own decisions on what you want to do with marijuana. They're also encouraging, and I'm encouraging this as well. If you ever been arrested on marijuana charges, we'll expunge your record. We'll take it right out of your record, so that doesn't follow you around for the rest of your life.
And Illinois actually already enacted that type of program. So
Nate Horn talking about my Rorschach shirt. Rorschach, the guy. Yeah. What does this image mean to you? So is it time to talk about sports? Well, there it is. And as they say, it's going to be a huge weekend for sports. Busy weekend ahead. We've got IIAG high school wrestling meets. Guam High, Southern, FD Academy versus Ukadu, FD and Academy versus Southern, Ukadu versus Guam High, weigh-ins at 9. And then we've got other games at Teedson Sanchez versus GW, Teedson versus Kennedy, Kennedy versus Sanchez, and Teedson versus GW. There's high school baseball taking place all weekend long. I bet Michael Knight's going to go find some of that. Guam High High versus Notre Dame playing at the Paseo today. Tomorrow, Guam High at Ukadu, JFK at Southern at Paseo, Notre Dame versus FD at Leo Palace, and Sanchez out at Teeds. And plus, there's basketball and plenty more. When I talk about basketball, it's Hoop Fest weekend, baby.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
This is a big deal. The 23rd to the 1st, it'll be at the Temurning Gym, not too far away from where you are.
Yep.
We will see games being played by the Agate Stars, Velocity, the Islanders, St. Anthony Raiders, from Saipan, Agape, and Rollers Basketball, Temurning Typhoons, Dededo Yellow Jackets, the Ukadu Bulldogs, St. Paul Warriors, from Manila, Faith Tanuan, Colegio San Augustin, and Lady Aces from Saipan, plus Mount Carmel, St. John's, Knights, Unity, and the Island Wolves are all going to be participating in the 2019 Thanksgiving Hoop Fest.
I just wonder if they got the lights fixed in the Temurning Gym. Last time I was in there, I was actually a photog for PNC, and it was really difficult.
Just play during the day.
It's still got
just open all the. I'm sure that for Hoop Fest. I mean, look, there's big sponsor here is the Bank of Guam. So maybe if they need lights, 76 Circle K's in there, Addis Trust and Investment. They got Tan Shu Lin Foundation. They got companies that they can go to and say, we need light bulbs, and you're going to pay because you're sponsors.
Yeah, but if you got folks sticking the money in their pockets and it don't go to the lights.
You know, no, I don't know. What are you talking? Those putting money in their pockets.
Come on, Debbie Downer.
They're supporting the children. These are the
Friday.
children basketball players. The children are our future.
Then they better fix those lights.
8:22 in the morning. Michael Knight's got some sports for you.
And UOG baseball. Bill Bennett's been selected to lead the University of Guam's newly reinstated men's baseball team. He has more than 40 years of involvement in baseball and softball skills development programs for national teams, school teams, youth, and coaches. He's the founder of the Guam Amateur Baseball Association, a nonprofit organization that develops baseball and softball leagues, tournaments, private lessons, camps, and clinics, and the Guam Baseball Academy, which runs training academies and leagues. Now, the team tryouts will be held at 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday and Sunday, December 14th and 15th at the George Washington High School baseball field. The team will participate in the Guam Major League starting in February. Ray, you're a bowler. Guam bowlers made a lot of noise in Vietnam over the weekend with the team Temurning finishing with a silver medal. The team of Aaron Elliott, John Atta, J.D. Castro, and R.J. Santos took home the silver medal at the annual championships. Castro and Elliott took gold in the doubles event for Team Temurning, beating Happy Valley, while the duo of Charlie Mamachar Carbagan and Dorian Herrero from Team Dededo took home bronze. Unfortunately, the two teams, Temurning and Dededo, had to compete against each other in the semifinals, and I don't have a score for that. So
kind of a big deal. It's Mama Shar is actually a great bowler. I've seen Shar bowl, and I'm going, you should do that professionally. And that's about the next best thing, is being able to go and represent Guam off island with all of those things. I'm looking to see if I've got something from Dave Torrey. Sent it in yesterday on my WhatsApp. So give me a second to pull this thing up, because I do want to. There is the super sprint that is going to be going on. As I understand it, the last. It's swimming and running and biking.
So it's kind of like a mini Ironman.
Exactly. The Triathlon Federation's Earn the Bird Sprint Triathlon is going to take place Sunday at the Old USO in Petey. Showtime is going to be at 6 o'clock in the morning. Everybody hits the water at 7 o'clock in the morning after all of the poisonous fish and the shark are chased away.
Oh, yeah.
From there. So you start with the swim, and then there's biking. Swimming's only 200 meters. I say only 200 meters, thinking maybe it's possible that I, in the best shape of my life, might be able to do a 200-meter swim one day.
Yeah. You could.
And then you can bike for 6 miles.
I mean, if you're not in a hurry, bro, you can just kind of backstroke and float.
Well, I mean, you can dog paddle if you want to.
Yeah.
That's and I know a lot of people do that go, okay, I'm the suck at swimming, so I'm just going to muddle my way through this for 200 meters, get back on the shore, and then I'm going to go like hell on the bike and run as fast as I possibly can.
Where are they swimming?
USO. It's it's down in Petey, over on the way to the port.
Okay,
is where it is. It used to be the old. We call it the old USO because it was the USO for a long time when I was a kid. I think the building might still belong to the Navy. 200 meters, halfway around a running track, according to Dave Torrey. Still don't think I can do it, my friend. 8:25. So you got the bike for 6 miles, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Biking in one direction, no problem. You will literally go like the wind. On the the other hand, you got to come back. And there is an oh my God headwind over at that roadway, and it will be even more oh my God this weekend because
it's got a nice little trade wind surge.
You're going to have to get through that, and then you're thinking, well, at least I've got the running part. I'll be able to get through the running, and it's only a 2K, which just over a mile. But again, it is a 2K that will take you in one direction with the wind, and you'll think that you are Mr. Joe Flash. Oh my God, I can't believe how fast I'm going. You're going to hit the turnaround, and then bam, like a brick wall. But that wind's going to hit you.
But thus we realize the advantage to swimming in that you don't have to deal with the wind.
Yeah, but there may be some sea turtles. There's some rogue sea turtles down there that you might be able to see every once in a while, and stingrays. Believe it or not, I hear about this every once in a while. There's people that swim, that do their training swimming down there. It's amazing some of the sea life and the sea creatures that you can see when you're in that little channel there. But I wouldn't know because I don't go.
I don't want to see them.
What do you think?
I love the ocean. I don't want to see what's underneath.
I just like to look at the top of the water.
Yeah.
That's all I need to see. Anyway, so that's one of the big deals that's going on. Hey, we got football today. You know how you can tell we have football is the producer, Michael Knight on the Ray Gibson Show, is wearing his Houston Texans shirt.
Yeah.
It's not a shirt. It's a jersey. I'm sorry. It's a jersey.
That's all right. It's no worries. But yeah, we got a game today, actually. Thursday night. And so I'll be bailing out of here very shortly after work today.
That's me, too.
Because it can be seen on Amazon, and I've got Amazon, so I'll go watch the game at home later on. That's Houston and Indianapolis today, starting Week 12 action. By the way, Week 11, Big Red Rocket was our winner. I have sent an email awaiting the reply so that I can tell you how to claim your prizes that we've gotten you. $10 gift certificate to Red Lobster and a cool Bud Light T-shirt. I did send an email to the email that was given in the group itself on Yahoo. So whoever signed up on Big Red Rocket, be sure and check that email and get back to me. So
you guys got to get really good at this because we're getting close now. It's hard to believe we're at Week 12 of the NFL preseason, not the preseason, but the regular season for the NFL. That means we've only got 5 weekends left before it's all done. So that's a whole lot of prizes that we're going to be giving away. But the important thing is to make sure that people that have won prizes pick up those prizes. At the end of all of this, we'll find out who the aggregate winner is, who made the most best calls, and that person is going to get the big deal. Now, we are running into a situation, and I had not really thought this through, but we've got a significant number of ties.
Yeah.
For first place, including myself.
Yeah, and so we've got about 6 more weeks to work all of that out, and we'll see how that works out. And this week will be taking us well on our way to working that out. By the way, I don't know if you had a problem, but I had a significant problem with getting the pick'ems to work on my phone, on the phone app. So I actually had to go onto the website on the web-based.
I use the web almost exclusively.
So, and if you're having trouble with the app and you use it, go ahead and go to the web. It works just fine. Today, Houston taking on Indianapolis at Houston. I've got Houston.
I've got Houston as well, but only because of you. Also, they're favored by like 9-1.
Yeah.
To win this.
Yeah, and it shouldn't. You know, Indianapolis. Both teams are fighting for the top of the division, so the game actually has a great deal of meaning. This is their second meeting of the season. So this time in Houston, we'll see how it goes. Last time Indianapolis beat us, so we'll.
I think it's
going
to be the real nail biters though are going to be played over the weekend here on the weekend in the States. On Monday, we're all going to be biting our nails on what's going to be happening with San Francisco and Green Bay. I'd like to see San Francisco win this because they've been working it out, but Green Bay is coming along very, very nicely as well, and they're pretty evenly matched on this.
Yeah, I'm picking Green Bay because I think San Francisco got a little exposed last time, and teams will look at the tape from the last game that they lost and focus on those things that the Seattle was able to beat San Francisco with. So we'll see how that goes. But I did pick Green Bay to win that game. The other close one is the Seattle-Philly game.
Well, I was thinking the other close one's going to be Oakland, New York Jets.
It could be, but only because both teams are really not good. Oakland, I'm picking to win that particular game.
I'm going in the opposite direction just because I'm thinking they might the Jets might be able to pull something through here. But you're right, Philly and Seattle. So Seattle on the minus side of that. But I'm thinking, they got that big 12-man thing. Where are they playing this game?
Well, it's in Philadelphia. That may be the only reason that Philadelphia's favored in the game. Seattle clearly the better team of the two on the field. So I just don't really see Philadelphia being being a favorite here. I'm taking Seattle in that one.
All right. If we missed one of your big sport events over the weekend or that's happened, I'm really, really sorry. This is the portion of the program that we only pretend to talk about sports. Now, this is kind of a big deal, and I want to make sure that we get some coverage on this. There's going to be massive soccer going on all weekend long. We've got a bunch of coaches and kids that are going to be there for the Triple J Auto Group Robbie Weber Youth League 2019 Fall Season Jamboree. I've been to the soccer pitches on Jamboree days, and oh my God, it's kind of an amazing thing that they've got going on there. And then there's the women's baseball team is going to be doing their tryouts this weekend. And I don't know that I've got the information on that handy. I'll have to take the break and then come back to you and give you that, because I think that's another big deal. There it is. Women's National Baseball tryouts are going to be taking place this weekend, and we'll get you details on where you need to be if you want to join in that particular league. It's 8:31. That's all the time that we have to pretend to talk about sports. That's Michael Knight. I'm Ray Gibson. Montesilva's got news. Montesilva Tyron's got news coming up here in just a sec.
Are you ready for some football? The Ray Gibson Show has got your fix every day with the Points NFL Pick'em Contest. Get the latest updates as we check out the past week's performance and break down the upcoming action. Get your game on by calling the hotline at 888-TALK or sound off on Facebook Live at thepoint.gu. League members get a chance to win some awesome weekly prizes with a shot for your choice of a new GTA phone. The NFL Pick'em Contest is brought to you by Current Guam with special thanks to GTA.
See if I still have it. The only reason why I would know exactly where to go on this is because it was somebody in the 35th Guam legislature that sent me a copy of the advertisement for the Guam women's national baseball team, wondering if DOC has started their training, or at least one person in DOC in particular who maybe has a shot at the Guam women's national baseball team tryouts on Saturday from 2:30 until 6:30 in the afternoon, Sunday from 9 until noon at the Paseo Stadium. You must be ages 16 plus in order to participate and try out for the Guam women's national baseball team. Doesn't say if there's any kind of upper limit. Mana, you want to play?
I'm really not good at team sports.
Just solo. And that's why we run.
I'll be a bench warmer, water girl. But yeah.
But not that.
Yeah, not good at all.
Currently 8:32 in the morning, and time for our last look at headlines with news from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Montesilva Tyron.
The Guam Election Commission, when they meet next week, they'll entertain a petition to recall the Jotnya mayor. Francisco Heaton filed a petition. GEC's executive director, Maria Pangilinan, tells us that he will have to pull together 981 signatures on a petition to begin the process of the recall. It will result in a village recall election and then an actual election. The mayor remains behind bars until his trial starts in February. The mayor's council is asking him just to simply step down. Sam Brennan is on leave still, but will keep her position as DOC's director in charge of administrative functions at the facility. A memo was circulated within DOC that outlines the operational changes. It also details some immediate changes that are to take place to include reduced work hours and rest time for overworked officers and the reactivation of the SORT team. And Vigilant Guard 2020 wraps up today after a week-long exercise with guardsmen and women and government emergency responders. The exercise was to test the response and readiness in the event of a super typhoon on Guam. Also, the Guam Power Authority wants to reduce the fuel surcharge, and it could mean lower power bills for us. GPA will wait for the CCU to approve the proposed 10% drop before they take the request to the Public Utilities Commission. And those are some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. For more of these stories, pick up a copy of the paper or log on to their website at postguam.com.
All right. This story here that I haven't heard anywhere else. GPD officers responded to a report in Mongmong. Arriving at the location, Officer Lujan met with Jonathan Walter, who reported that earlier, about 6:30 p.m. on the same date at his residence, his girlfriend, Christina, became upset at him. Mr. Cruz explained that the defendant grabbed and pulled his hair and started scratching his facial area. Officer Lujan conducted an injury check of Mr. Cruz and noted scratch marks on his face and shoulder. He met with the met with the defendant who admitted, yeah, I smacked him, I pulled his hair, I scratched his face. But what's missing in this magistrate report is, what did he do?
And he's probably still trying to figure it out.
I don't know what I
Fool,
did. He just
put the seat down. Put the seat down.
My number one answer is that. Put the seat down. What could the guy have possibly done to just irk this woman, Christine? And I'm tempted. I haven't done it yet.
What time of day was that?
This would it be about 6:30 at night. About 6:30 at night. So I mean, there's the possibilities include, and this is something that I've heard in my life is, who is that blank on your Facebook page? Who is the blank on your Facebook
Why
page?
did she like that photo?
Yeah, who's those people that got Valentine's likes on your Facebook page there, buddy? Huh? Come here. I'm going to get you. And then this one's not as funny. Did you use the last of my vape juice? Yeah, boy. So that's the big question that we want to know. It sounds like it's in our neighborhood, so chances are really good. Where were the police cars the other night? That's what I got to ask. It's 8:36. We'll call that iConnect time. Swing by the nearest iConnect and ask them about, saving money. Or not getting in trouble with your chick. They'll answer the phone when you call at 888-8888 and ask them about saving money on mobile, internet, and push-to-talk plans.
Half a day. This is Melanie Mendiola.
And this is Ricky Hernandez. We're with the Guam Economic Development Authority.
And we're both alumni of the University of Guam. We're calling on our fellow alumni to make an investment in Guam's future by contributing to the G is for Giving campaign. With your donation, you are giving more students the opportunity to graduate, making Guam a better place.
To make a tax-deductible donation, log on to give.uog.edu before December 31st or call 735-2957 for more information.
Viva UOG!
The Ray Gibson Show. Oh, is it time to start thinking about food? It's always time to start thinking about food here. Food and sleep. That's where we are, right? I'm trying to figure out whether I want to mention it now. I've just posted a story up on Facebook. With that sick? Who's that sick?
Oh, wait.
No, in fact, it's the story. There's Manny Hechinova and Yuka are in this picture of. It's this story.
Yeah.
It's a story. It goes back a year, and you might recall last year, his Thanksgiving was a year ago today or yesterday. Anyway, so we couldn't run the turkey trot last year because there was a storm in the area, and the GRC decided to push it off one day. I still wanted to get my running in, so Manny and Yuka and I met up down in Tumon, and one of the things that Yuka had mentioned at the time was how scruffy I looked that day because it was Thanksgiving Day. I didn't feel like shaving, so I didn't. And I was looking at the scruffiness.
Where's the photo? You didn't post it.
What's that?
You didn't put it up.
I did put it up. It's on Facebook. Oh, you want me to put it up on the
so
thing?
Everyone can know what
Well,
you're
maybe I'll
talking
put it up on the thing a little bit later on. But anyway, it was a year ago on Thanksgiving that I didn't shave my face for the last time. I started growing the beard in earnest on Thanksgiving. It's been a year, and Mana's asking me, "Are you going to shave it now?" Like, no, I kind of like it. I dig it. It gives me people a moment's pause because they're not sure if it's really me when they see me because it's like it looks like Ray, but Ray has a beard, doesn't have a beard. Well, I do now, which is awesome. So now I can go like to Club USA and Vikings and stuff like that, G-Spot, and nobody knows who I am. The microphone's on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The swing by Mescla, where they like my beard too. You can get crispy pork belly strips served over a lightly battered brioche. They've got pizza. Let me do this because it's Friday and it's not a frowny face Friday. And if you want to have a groovy Friday, get some pizza in it. House-made pizza dough topped with marinara sauce, 3-cheese blend, Canadian bacon, Spanish chorizos. Always like an international thing. It's from Canadian bacon. It's Guam dough, chorizos, peppers, onions, and cilantro pesto. Available in Gatnia and Tumon at the Grand Plaza Hotel. We'd like you to make reservations, so call them today at 969-2652.
GRMC's cardiology department treats most complex heart problems. In our catheterization lab, cardiologists use imaging equipment to treat clogged arteries that can cause heart attacks or heart failure. We perform balloon angioplasty, stenting, and other life-saving cardiac procedures. If you suffer from a heart condition, have your provider refer you to GRMC's cardiology clinic at 645-5500. GRMC, where patients are partners.
Traffic Gizmo time, and my guess is that there is no more traffic to worry about at all. Everybody should be in the office by now, or decided that, screw it, I'm not going to work. I think I'm going to start the weekend early, right? 8, 10, and 16 still running a little bit busy there. 10 and 15 on Route 10 is running busy as well. Should be smooth moving all the way up in Route 4 in Zotnia, all the way into the downtown Hagåtña area. Just a few miles of traffic and a couple of traffic lights that will slow you down. Intersection over by the Micronesia Mall is clear, but just as you're moving south towards Santos Hill, it'll busy up again until you pass that intersection, and then should clear up by the time you get to St. John's. 1 and 3 is doing all right, and most of the dead-o traffic has evaporated as of this time. 20 away from 9 o'clock in the morning. It's the Ray Gibson Show, and that's right now traffic.
Hey, what's that?
A Subway Big Hot Pastrami?
My Big Hot Pastrami?
No, my Subway Big Hot Pastrami. Get your own.
Get your own Subway Big Hot Pastrami. Tender, juicy beef on freshly baked sunflower crunch bread, topped with pickles and mustard. Finish off your meal with all new seasoned potato wedges, baked to perfection right in the restaurant. Both available for limited time only. Subway, make it what you want.
We made it. It's Friday. Here it is. Been waiting all week. And this is a long week. There's a long week. A week before, we had kind of a day off in there. We worked generally all the way through the week. Next week, a short week, abbreviated, if you will, because of the Thanksgiving holiday. And while there has not been any official word yet from the administration, I suspect that there will be a Black Friday holiday that will be declared by the governor with much fanfare. And everybody will say, yay, except the people that actually have to work on Black Friday, like us here at the radio station. Although I was toying with the idea. I was toying with the idea of making it a work optional day here at the station. And I would have not taken the option. Frankly, if I could have worked it out, it would have been one of those things where Wednesday night I hop on a plane to, I don't know, Tokyo or Manila or Korea or someplace and goof off until Tuesday next week and just turn it into a mini vacation opportunity. You know what stopped me? Okay, the people over at the bank, first of all, said you don't have enough money for this. You can think about it all you want, but you're not going on this trip, right? Denied is what they said. You want to hit the sound effect?
Denied.
And that's the lady's voice at the bank. She's absolutely not. So that was one of them. But the other one was the idea that you know what, guys? There's a lousy time to do traveling. I know. I met a lady was out here visiting some family and doing a lot of hiking and swimming and stuff like that. And I said, when you going home? She said, well, I'm going to try to get home for Thanksgiving. I'm actually going to be leaving Guam on Thanksgiving Day. To try to get to where Madison, Wisconsin, or someplace like that on Thanksgiving afternoon/evening. It's doable. And then I asked her, a young woman, I said, have you ever seen the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? And she's got this little gleam in her eye like, no, I've never heard of that movie. Well, her cousin, a little bit older, says, oh, yeah, we're watching that tonight. We're going to Netflix and chill that tonight because you have to understand just what you're getting yourself into. It is literally the worst time to travel is around Thanksgiving because there's so many other people that are on the roads and on the planes and in the automobiles and all of that stuff. So I would stay close to the ground here. 8:43 in the morning. Very close, very dear personal friend Tyrone Taitanu is on the line here this morning with important words for people that would like to become enumerators with Census 2020. Good morning, Tyrone.
Good morning, Ray. Thanks for the opportunity. Yes, we're holding another job fair at the Gardner Shopping Center beginning at 10 a.m. this morning for the hundreds of still outstanding job opportunities for the 2020 Census of Guam for jobs that begin pay at $18.64 an hour. As you know, we've had a series of these jobs here for like the past month or so, and we're done a great job in recruiting qualified candidates for the hundreds of 2020 census jobs. The key thing we're focusing now in is of the over 500 field staff we'll need that will actually go door to door.
Wow.
And enumerate these positions and get the census. We're kind of at this stage we're more than halfway to filling these positions. Hundreds of people have gone past the interview stage and are now going through the processing stage where they have to get, the police and court clearances and the drug test and the proficiency test and the other clearances that have to be done before they're actually employed. We're hoping to bring them all on board beginning in January for like 3 days of paid training.
Mm-hmm.
And then the plan is to send them out in the field in the first week of February. So that will begin their several months worth of employment for what is known as the address listing phase. That's where it's kind of like a reconnaissance. They go out and check out the neighborhoods. They're going to come out with a survey form.
Yeah.
First, they're going to hit the streets actually in March. But it's at 10 a.m. this morning at the Gagnon Shopping Center. There'll be staff there to explain, help you fill out application forms, and actually we'll be able to conduct interviews on the spot. So to see whether you qualify for these jobs and the sort of thing for you. And we plan to probably be doing continuing these job fairs and recruitment way until the end of this year, and even perhaps beyond that, because one of the things we're trying to do here is not only get enough applicants for these positions, but create a larger pool beyond the applicants, because based on past experience, we found that once we send people out into the field here, a number of them decide this is not for us, or else they find better job opportunities. So we're still doing hard, and Bernie Guinness and her team are doing a great job in this.
No, I'm sure they are. But the numbers are kind of staggering, and there's a whole lot of people that have moved through, but you still need more people to get it done. And then, as you point out, there's some great opportunities. No doubt that you are going to be seen, depending on whether you've got some good go-get-it on you. You'll be seen by other supervisors, other leaders in the government. They might go, maybe you need to think about working in this shop full-time. You never know what's going to happen. So try to take advantage. It doesn't cost you anything to get down to Gagnon Shopping Center. So what did you say? That starts at 10 this morning?
At 10 this morning, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in like the center court area for the Gagnon Shopping Center. There'll be people there to help answer your questions about job opportunities or any questions people may have about the 2020 census. Right now, a lot of, as you can tell, the public discussion we've engaged in has mostly to do with the job opportunities, because that's the immediate task.
Yeah.
Getting the hundreds of people who need to actually do the survey right now. But very soon here, we'll also be opening engagement conversations with you and other people in the media about what to expect when the hundreds of enumerators hit the streets in your neighborhood. And we've been working with the mayors as well to prepare them for that stage. Also, we want to contact neighborhood watch groups so they don't get too alarmed when a whole bunch of people show up in their neighborhood in the middle of the day. And also other stuff, try to scope out these areas and deals with a broad array of issues we're going to that's going to be involved in this process. For example, access to gated communities, houses with big dogs, a whole range of things. And that's largely going to happen in December and January before the address listing phase in February. But right now, we're trying to find the people for jobs that pay starting at $18.64 an hour. Particularly for the field.
Can I ask that, Tyrone? Do you mind if let me just jump in here, because that's a weird number. I mean, $18.64. Why couldn't they round it up to $18.65 or down to $18.60? Who comes up with these numbers that just kind of odd end odd?
Well, this is how the process works. Now, the actual job positions are established by local statute for purposes of the census every 10 years. And the way this works out here, we operate under a federal grant award, a contract between the government of Guam and the U.S. Census Bureau to carry out the census. And then in the process of negotiating that grant award here, the government of Guam presents numbers in terms of staffing that's required and the hourly rates that'll be needed in order to properly compensate these people and attract qualified people. Yeah. And this exchange goes back and forth between the U.S. Census Bureau and the government of Guam, and they look at labor trends, et cetera. And so that's kind of what it's kind of negotiated down to those levels here is what's accepted, and then in terms of staffing levels and in terms of hourly rates. So that's kind of how that was arrived at.
Huh. Okay. All right. So somewhere along the lines, a calculator was consulted. Here's the money. Here's the number of people that we need. Here's the hours that we're going to be working, and there we go.
Market trends as well, but also labor market trends as well. So they were looking at what wages were out in the community as well, and for specific skill sets. So that exchange went back and forth, and just arrive on something that's mutually agreeable to both the government of Guam and the U.S. Census Bureau.
Gotcha. Can I ask, let me throw this in. It was something I read the other day, and there's supposed to be millions of dollars. I want to say it's an interior grant. I might be wrong. Might have come from somebody else having to do with coastal management. And so there's all these grants that are coming out, and it's in the millions of dollars that they're sending out to coastal communities. Some village up in where is that, Alaska, and somewhere in the marshes of Texas where they've got this. And I understand that there's some money coming in for Guam that is going to eventually get matched by a local, another local grant, either from a nonprofit agency or non-governmental agency, or maybe one of the groups around here that is associated with the coastal areas. Are you familiar with any of that money coming in?
Well, you understand there's a lot of coastal programs. I'm going to go very quickly, if you have time, about the three areas that come to my mind. There is under the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, there is a coastal zone management program that's in all 35 states and territories that actually have coasts.
Yeah.
And we have our own coastal zone management program in Guam. So that funds that operation. That's under the Bureau of Statistics and Plans that deals with land use planning, data consistency, a whole environmental issues, a whole bunch of other stuff. Then there are coastal programs under other parts of the Department of the Interior, like the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And that affects usually things that are dealing with wetlands and other stuff. And then the Department of Interior grants under the Office of Insular Affairs. Now, these are the technical assistance program grants, et cetera, which are pretty much anybody can apply for, not just the government of Guam.
Uh-huh.
And that might be what this is, but I don't know. So there's like the Central Coastal Program out of the federal government, usually out of NOAA, that funds the Bureau's Guam Coastal Zone Management Program. But there are coastal monies elsewhere throughout Interior and I think agriculture as well, in order to deal with these sort of issues, though. So
this might not even be from the government.
I haven't heard about this particular thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if something like that has happened, like, for example, on a technical assistance program grant. That's very possible.
It is coming from, I'm looking at the story now from AP. I was able to find it. Projects to protect Texas marshes from erosion and an Alaska village from the Bering Sea are getting help from the 44 grants awarded by the National Coastal Resilience Fund.
And I think that's a U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service program, if I'm not mistaken. But there's a number of these coastal programs. We are actually also and I recently met with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service people last couple of weeks ago at a conference here. And one of the things we're going to aggressively pursue next year are wetlands funding grants, which can also not only help wetlands, but also things that features that service wetlands like watersheds.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is very important in dealing with the issues of flooding, which is a major problem in a lot of parts of the island. It also will help us deal with issues on managing storm drainage. There's a major regulatory regime coming down next year that will require all drainage runoffs to not go through the sewers and have to be treated before they go into the ocean.
What?
Now, that's not it's a standard that's being, as I understand, is being imposed next year. So the normal way we've done this, which is run it through the sewers or we just let it run to the ocean here.
Right.
Apparently, there are new requirements coming down the pipe that will require that you can't do it through the sewers and you have to treat it before it runs off to the ocean.
That's going to cost a bloody fortune.
Well, this is one of the things public is working out. We're going to take up this issue in the Bureau's Assembly of Planners Symposium, scheduled in February here. But that's my understanding. I just got briefed on this a couple days ago.
Wow!
It's something that we sort of have to plan for.
Yeah, well, that's going to be massive. Is GWA ready for that, to divert all of the runoff?
I don't want to speak on behalf of the other agencies. I just basically learned about it from my own staff a couple of days ago, and I know Public Works is on top of this, and I suspect Waterworks as well. But there are new standards coming down for how you manage stormwater drainage in the community here.
Yeah.
Given that, that's one reason. That's also a reason why we're pursuing grants to deal with green solutions to storm drainage. Which features into watershed issues as well as as well as wetlands.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, I'll see if I can find somebody. I'm reading the rest of the article. The fund partnership was created last year after severe weather caused a record $306 billion in damage to the U.S. the year before. It seeks to blunt the impact of extreme weather, flooding, and other threats to diverse areas, including wetlands, coastal beaches, rivers, streams, oyster beds, and a particular concern here, coral reefs. So I think my friend Whitney might know a thing or two about where some of this money might get spent.
And there's a number of funding opportunities we're dealing with those issues in the coral reefs. One pool of money we are actually looking at here, there's a new plan to take 6% of the FEMA budget and put it into resiliency. It's called the Building Resiliency and Coastlines Program, called BRIC. And one of the interesting things about that one is that coral reefs are now being classified as natural infrastructure.
Yeah.
And so the next time we have a major storm event, et cetera, we might be able to tap FEMA money in order to restore it to the reef. So we're kind of looking at a lot of things here in order to prepare for what's coming down the pipe. But that is also one of the things we're looking at. Referring to the story you raised up. I tell you what, Ray, why don't you WhatsApp me the story you're referring to, and I'll have some of the staff take a look at it, and I can give you a clear idea as to what program this is and that article you read.
I'll do my best. Tyrone, I appreciate your time. And again, a reminder, 10 o'clock this morning, again, your shopping center. If you want to be an enumerator with Census 2020, that's the place to go.
Okay, thanks, Ray.
All right, my friend. I'll talk to you pretty soon.
My job. I'll see you in the Gander Shopping Center.
Hope so.
Bye-bye.
8:55 in the morning. Tyrone, to know, with stats and plans over at the governor's office, and the big deal, the big push here is to get people hired. It's going to be $18.64 an hour. That's decent money, and for all you got to do is just kind of walk around the village. You might be doing that just kind of anyway, because it's Friday. It's Walk Around the Village Day. 888-825-588-TALK. A couple of stories that I think are of interest. But, hold on. Black Friday's coming up, right? Not this Friday, not today, but next Friday, day after of Thanksgiving. And my friends over at Beyond the Box have got a Black Friday sale up to 70% off. Sale starts on the 28th and goes through the 29th. You can get things like Apple Watch bands, Defunk and iFrogs headphones and earphones, Marshall headphones. I've seen them. They're great. They sound good. Mophie power banks, Logitech iPad keyboard cases, and they've got a $1 clearance rack that they want you to look at and help them get rid of some stuff. This is over at Beyond the Box in Tumon, 856. Now, the story I wanted to talk about here, and this came up in conversation last night because people talk to me about politics like they think I know what I'm talking about. And so I'm happy to give them answers. Story that Kevin Kerrigan from the PNC did the other night. Rumors swirling over next year's Guam delegate race. It is no secret that no Democrats in the deep state Democrat Party like Mike Sinicolas. As far as I'm concerned, they would love to get rid of him and Trump at the same time, if possible. There's already legislation that has been proposed that would allow for an election to replace him in 60 days. Should it come to it? Should the office of the congressperson become vacant otherwise? It is as plain as the nose on your Democrat face. What's going on? Anyway, so that story led into a conversation about what the ramifications could mean for the Republican Party of Guam. Are you scratching your head? All right. So Mike Sinicolas, he's going to be facing some competition from within his own party. Among the names are Tony Babauta, current chief of staff at the governor's office. His name has come up as a potential candidate for the office of congressman. Wouldn't be too far, away from what his regular remit is. I mean, the guy spent a lot of time as undersecretary at the Department of Interior, right? So he knows his way around D.C., knows most of the players and most of the games, and they have not really changed all that much. The other one is Regine Bisco-Lee. And if I close my eyes and scrunch them down real hard, it seems to me she did some time working for Congresswoman Madeline Zebradallo in Washington, D.C. She was there for a little bit, and it seems to me that she might be able to parlay that experience as a staffer in Washington, D.C. To turn herself into a congressperson in Washington, D.C. And you might be going, okay, well, what does that mean to the Republicans? Not so much Tony Babauta, but if Regine is running for a spot as a congressperson, if she wins it, she's going to win it. She's not going to be at the legislature. If she loses, she's not going to be over at the legislature. And that is an opening for a Republican senatorial candidate to get in there. In fact, the more people that we see at the legislature that are not going to be called back, released from their duties as a senator by public demand here, there's more than one or two of those, and unfortunately, they happen to be Democrats. So I think there's an opportunity for the Republicans to be able to use that to begin to chip away at the majority that the Democrats currently hold over at the legislature. And frankly, if it was me, if I was the guy in charge of the Republican Party, I would encourage all of the Democrats in the legislature to run for Mike's job. Everybody, you get to go to Congress, and you get to go to Congress, and you get to go to Congress, and let all of the Republicans take over and take the majority back over at the legislature. It's been done before. Time, 9 o'clock in the morning. The radio station is KUSG. Getting you 93.3. This is The Point.
Done for the week. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. 2 more witnesses before the House Intelligence Committee as part of the impeachment inquiry, including one who seemed to corroborate allegations of quid pro quo. Fox's Jared Halper live on Capitol Hill.
The U.S. diplomat in Ukraine who overheard President Trump on the phone with a U.S. ambassador talking about investigations told the House Intelligence Committee how his colleagues reacted.
There was nodding agreement. So did I go through every single word in the call? No, because everyone by that point agreed. It was obvious what the president was pressing for.
David Holmes says the president was asking for investigations into the 2016 election and former Vice President Joe Biden. Republicans have said they have heard no evidence of a quid pro quo or bribery, arguing President Trump had every right to inquire about election interference and corruption. Lisa.
Jared, in his closing statement, Committee Chair Adam Schiff said the case is clear.
The president says, really quite spontaneously, it's not as if he was asked in this way, no quid pro quo. What do you want from Ukraine? No quid pro quo. This is the I'm not a crook defense. You say it, and I guess that's the end of it.
Schiff called on his colleagues to do their duty and put politics aside. After the hearing, Republican Jim Jordan again called out Democrats.
What is happening is not good for our culture, not good for our nation, and yet the Democrats do not care. They are bound and determined to do whatever it takes to get after this president.
The Trump campaign issuing a statement reading in part 2 more witnesses and 2 more whiffs by Democrats in their sham impeachment circus. Wall Street at the close. Stocks are closing slightly lower, with tech stocks leading the way lower. The Dow fell 54 points, the NASDAQ off 20, the S&P minus 4 points. America's listening to Fox News.
Knowing that we have choices in medical providers locally and outside of Guam is important and reassuring. This is the reason why Calvo Select Care provides quality health care options to its members. From a wide array of local, primary, and specialty doctors and clinics to a comprehensive hospital network on island and outside of Guam, you can trust Calvo Select Care to be there for you. Federal employees and annuitants enroll today. Call 477-9808 for more information.
Did you know that home loan rates have plunged again? Would you like to take advantage of these lower rates to help lower your monthly payments? Refinancing doesn't have to be for another 30 years. It can be for 10, 15, or 20 years. It's up to you. Reduce your monthly payments. Pay off your loan earlier. At Bank Pacific, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender. Credit conditions apply.
Police arrest a Syracuse University student for painting graffiti on campus buildings.
Police arrested Kim McGowan for the new series of markings that were found on campus. Her act is connected with 4 incidents of racist graffiti, some targeting African Americans, found near a garage and a library. Police say McGowan's drawings, however, were intended to support protests against the racist graffiti. She was charged with 4th-degree criminal mischief and making graffiti. Both counts are misdemeanors. She was released on an appearance ticket, which requires her to appear before a judge to answer the charges. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Thousands of pounds of salad products being recalled due to a possible E. coli contamination. The products contain meat or poultry and were sold in several states between October 14th and 16th. Oklahoma's Attorney General plans to appeal a ruling against Johnson & Johnson in an opioid lawsuit.
Mike Hunter says Judge Thad Balkman correctly determined Johnson & Johnson's culpability in the opioid crisis, but disagrees with the price the company should have to pay. Hunter arguing the $465 million judgment only covers 1 year of the state's plan to clean up the public nuisance that the judge found Johnson & Johnson created. Expert witnesses testifying it could take up to 30 years or more for Oklahoma to recover. The company also plans to appeal the award. Johnson & Johnson previously asked the judge to reduce the amount based on pretrial settlements that the state reached with other drug makers. Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
SpaceX had Ripley, now Boeing has Rosie, as Boeing moves its Starliner crew capsule to its Florida pad for a mid-December launch. The company revealed the name of its test dummy on board. Rosie the astronaut is named after World War II's Rosie the Riveter. The dummy has hundreds of sensors for the first Starliner test flight to the International Space Station. Flights with NASA astronauts should begin next year. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
We understand what matters to you because at Docomo Pacific, we're a family too. With the Now Family program, mom, dad, and kids stay connected on the latest devices the whole family can enjoy. For just $155 a month, get 3 lines with 30 gigs of 4G LTE data each, and endless use of your favorite apps without affecting your monthly data bucket. Add more, get more, save more. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
Wow, nice smile. So perfect and all.
Thanks. I owe it all to Dr. Robert Yang and his smile team. They do wonders for a healthy, happy mouth.
Got teeth? Don't wait until they hurt. Schedule your routine checkup and cleaning with Dr. Yang and his smile team. Suite 119 in the East-West Business Center, Upper Tumon. Call 647-8702 or 3.
The best thing that happened to teeth since toothpaste.
Dr. Yang and his smile team.
They make smiles happen.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show being brought to you by the guys at Nanbo Insurance. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo today. Get up to $350 towards your next power bill because you got to plug it into something, right? It's not putting gasoline in it, so you got to plug it in and charge up the battery or something like that. That's got to put a dent in your power bill, right? Well, they want to take a bigger dent out. Call 477-9754, 477-9754 for more details. American President Lines, APL, a global presence, and a local home also bring you the program, as well as the team over at Wendy's who have been slaving over hot stoves all day long trying to make sure that you got your breakfast nutrition needs met. They've got these 5 local breakfast platters. It comes with egg, and it comes with a rice and some kind of breakfast meat for $4. That would be the Applewood smoked bacon version of the breakfast meat they've got there. We don't know what sound the Portuguese sausage makes. And then they got country fried chicken with gravy. And I love this. It's like a regular fried piece of chicken. Yes, and white gravy and scrambled eggs. And you get that with the Wendy's fried rice on the side and maybe a couple of dashes of Tabasco. And that's it. You don't want to eat anything else for the rest of the day because you're worried that it's going to blunt the great flavor that's already in your mouth. It was the Tabasco. When I said Tabasco, that's what pushed you over the edge, right? I'm thinking, okay, I'm going out in the field now. I'm going to Wendy's. Who else wants breakfast? Now that's better.
The Ray Gibson Show. Any speaker, anytime. Morning talk that matters.
I don't know if it's going to matter. I just my observances of life here on Guam, and as I mentioned, it's amazing the things that sink in with people. There was a conversation that I was having with folks, and it's a circle of friends, stoners, that probably should have been more concerned. They should have heard this. The House has adopted a bill now that, if passed, would take marijuana off of Schedule 1. Why it's on Schedule 1 is a subject of big controversy and conspiracies against the Mexicans. Was it Mexicans and hemp farmers from back in the day by the cotton industry? They didn't want people wearing hemp clothes anymore, and they said, well, let's make cotton, and they didn't want the competition, so they started making noise like it's devil weed from Mexico, and the devil weed Mexican smoking stoners are going to come and rape all the white women, and so that's how it got put on the Schedule 1, right? According, I've embellished it a little bit because It's what I do.
It's closer to the truth than
Probably,
people
yeah,
really
probably
realize.
closer to the truth, right? So that may be what happened to it. Anyway, so they want to take it off Schedule 1 and leave it up to the states to do with what they will with marijuana. And already a significant number of states have decided we're tired of enforcing idiotic marijuana laws and locking people up for marijuana. We've got other things to do here. Cops got other things to do besides die. You remember that when the guy said it in Big Trouble in Little China? Anyway, so there's that, and they also want to expunge the records of anybody that did get busted for marijuana. So among my stoner friends, they will never admit to smoking, but I know they all do. I thought that would be the big story. Do you know what the big story was with these guys? Do you know what the big topic of conversation was? And they're just livid about this. They're absolutely livid about it. And it is the fact that there is no Disney Plus on Guam. You familiar with it? It's a streaming service. Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, and now all across the country, Disney Plus has signed on, except Guam and a bunch of other places. And this is the thing that has got people all annoyed, is the fact that they cannot get Disney Plus on Guam. I think you can, but it requires the stealthy use of a VPN piece of software that you install on whatever it is that you're watching on. And the way the VPN works is you're not going through Docomo anymore. I mean, you're still going through Docomo, but before you get to Disney Plus, your computer, the VPN, will send your request for Disney Plus to another internet service provider somewhere. Japan, Korea, Australia, Austria, and it will. But you want yours to go to like Los Angeles. You want it to go to an ISP in Los Angeles, and Disney Plus will go, I'm going to send this Disney Plus signal, this Mulan video, the original version of The Little Mermaid. I'm going to send this to Ray, who's in Los Angeles. Well, Ray's on Guam. But the VPN tells Disney Plus that I'm in Los Angeles, and there we go. And I've just called it up, and if you call up Disney Plus on your browser, this is what it's going to say. Sorry, Disney Plus is not available in your country. And tantalizing pictures of a panda, and that's Darth Vader, and this Iron Man, and the guy from The Incredibles.
Honestly, it's enough to make you want to leave your country.
I love my country.
But not without Disney, man.
So that's what everybody was talking about last night. It's just we're how ripped off we are again by the internet because we're not getting Disney Plus. Now it was supposed to be turned on, worldwide, territory-wide on the 19th. Which was 3 days ago, and that still hasn't happened, which just makes my stoner friends that much angrier because they want to smoke and watch The Incredibles like they never heard of a frickin' DVD or a video store. 9:11 in the morning, Uncle Robert's on the line. Uncle Robert!
Hello.
Hello, it's my Uncle Robert, former congressman, former president of the University of Guam, and now just completely retired. It's just him and Auntie Narissa around the house, but she's never here. She's always traveling. So I call in, I check in at least once a week to make sure my Uncle Robert's doing okay.
Well, I'm doing great this morning.
I'm glad to hear that you were doing great. Big Thanksgiving weekend coming up.
It is, and that means a lot of turkey and a lot of turkey stuff.
Maybe is it still got that bottle of Johnny Blue? That'll help the Thanksgiving. You'll go by a lot faster.
That was long gone.
Johnny. So
I'm going to have to rely on friends to give me another one.
Get the one with the Two Lovers Point on it. Everybody likes that one. Anyway, so at 9:12 in the morning, I was talking about Disney Plus, and it occurs to me that in between the occasional peck on the cheek from Auntie Narissa and the occasional phone call from me, that's probably all you get to do is sit around and watch streaming movies, right?
That's true, and there's an element of there's such an element of confusion about that requires some regulatory action. One time, if you were in one side of the UOG campus and you called to the other side of the UOG campus, your call first went to LA, then it went back to Guam, and then it went back to UOG.
What?
Yeah, and there's something about the use of the internet and data centers and all of that, which you know, the island should be able to take full advantage of, given our status and all of these optic fiber cables landing on our shores. You would think that we'd get a better deal than we're currently getting.
Right? Because, exactly, all of that incredible interconnectivity that comes through Guam, and there's got to be another way that we could parlay that. Now, of course, one of the other issues might be that Disney Plus might not yet have what I like to refer to as a bit bucket. A lot of people didn't realize this for a long time, but like YouTube and Netflix and Hulu and things like that, when you watch those shows, you're not streaming a signal that's coming in from Hollywood, California, or Tokyo, Japan, or any place like that. The data is actually copied to servers here on Guam. And it might be one of those things where we just don't have the Disney Plus servers all set up so that they can do business with this country.
But don't you think we could get that directly, given the availability of fiber optic here?
Oh, yeah. But I think it comes down to, what's the easier thing to do? Pull bandwidth from far, far away. And bandwidth is, there's a price associated with it, or pull the bandwidth from nearby.
So I think somebody is making a few cents on each time we do this, and we just need to figure it out.
That's my Democrat uncle.
Legislature on this.
That's my Democrat uncle. There's some kind of transaction going on. I ought to be able to find a way to tax it.
No, it's on behalf of the consumer.
There we go. That's all right. We'll see. But they're just going to raise the price of the transaction to the consumer to pay this fee.
We'll see.
Okay, gotcha. Black Friday's coming up next week, and I consider that the start of the shopping season. So, in the chance that Auntie Narissa's listening, and your numerous other nieces and nephews and godchildren that owe you at least a little bit for the Christmas holidays, what would you like to see under the tree this year, Uncle Robert?
Disney Plus. What do I like?
I'd like the Dodgers to win once.
Yeah, the Dodgers to win one. Books, Dodgers paraphernalia, maybe a little Lakers and Rams thrown in, but that's about it.
Yeah. Well, what books are you interested in reading about these days? I've been making a big deal about reading the biography of Polinario Mabini, who spent some time on Guam, guarded by your grandfather, my great grandfather, and had significant relations as one of the troublemakers that the United States government needed to get out of Manila for a while.
That's right. He was the lead intellectual of the Philippine Revolution. And in addition to Daddy Underwood guarding him, Daddy Underwood was responsible for throwing the farewell party. So, it was a good relationship. And, of course, that has been undercut, and people don't kind of comprehend that. He also wrote that wonderful, he's the only guy that I know of that wrote a poem to Asan.
Right? And that's why there's at Camp Asan, there is a statue of him.
That's right, because that's where he was, and there's actually two statues of him because, two organizations couldn't agree that one is enough.
Well, the more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. There's a lot of people that are interested in him, and you're right. I think Mabini gets kind of a bad rap around here, but primarily I think just because he's Filipino and people don't understand why we need to erect statues for a Filipino guy that directed the revolution in the Philippines. What's the big deal? And that kind of is the big deal, is they needed to get him out of the Philippines, and they stuck him on Guam for a while.
Yeah, and from that experience came some long-standing Guam families, Tolentino, Flores, and Pautin. So those individuals were here as well, and they didn't go back to the Philippines.
Just stuck around, and now it's always good to have a historian. Now, Uncle Robert wasn't actually alive during those times, but close to it. 9:18 in the morning. Speaking of folks in the Asia Hood, I understand the Pope is going to be coming around here. You going to go visit?
I haven't gotten my invitation yet, but I'll try to make it.
I want to say it's a Pope's Asian tour or something like that. He's going out there with you two and Joe Coy. And what? He's apparently in Thailand right now for the start of the Asian tour.
Well, I'm apparently I haven't heard anything about this. So,
yeah, I don't. It doesn't look like it. And my guess is, after the whole dust up with the former archbishop, he's probably not going to be swinging around here anytime soon.
he doesn't want to answer any questions.
No. Go and come by here and take a look at all of the former archdiocese property that's about to get all sold off here. Now I don't know if you follow Dan Ho. He writes an editorial column in the Guam Daily Post. Do you follow him?
I do.
He wrote this week about the idea that there doesn't need to be big dogs on Guam. Did you catch that?
I sort of caught it, and I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit ambivalent about that topic because, I grew up at a time when dogs were dogs.
Right.
They were treated. You should treat them humanely, but they weren't really part of the family, and so now of course they're part of the family and the extended family, and so we have our laws are starting to catch up to our worldview about animals.
Right. Well, it's an interesting piece, a theory about stray dogs, and he makes the same point. Is when we were growing up, we had dogs. My mom's dog, a little Chihuahua named Cokie, and Granddaddy had a dog named Teddy, and there were a couple of dogs that we had around the house, but they weren't inside dogs. The idea that you would have a dog that lived with you inside was. Really? Why would you want to have a dog in the house? What's the matter with you? And then my mom married my stepfather, and he had, oddly enough, my stepfather, Big Macho Dave, Big Dave Silva, had a black poodle that lived with us in the house.
Wow,
And it was the strangest.
That was the start of the cultural change right there.
It must have been that the sexual revolution was happening about the same times that dogs started getting rights around here. But he makes an interesting point about dogs. We don't need that. There's nothing that a big dog can do that a little dog can't.
And they don't eat as much.
They don't eat it. Any dog over 10 pounds is too much dog for a tropical island. There's a reason why the Mexican dog is a Chihuahua. Its diminutive size works well in Mexico's warm climate. You never see a Chihuahua chained to a tree in Mexico. They live indoors where man's best amigos should be. And making the points, large dogs with the wrong coats and temperament arrived on islands for many unfortunate reasons. These dogs were bred to have instincts to work, to herd, to hunt, to pull sleds, and they get to Guam and they don't have to do any of that stuff except breed and hang out in the boondocks.
That's right, Dan. Have you ever seen these dogs? They look like, what am I doing here?
Mm-hmm.
And they're just kind of moseying around. But, that's, because dogs are not indigenous to Guam.
That's right. They come here with the brown tree snakes and the rhinoceros beetles and all of that stuff. That's what we'll do is we'll equate dogs to invasive species. 9:21, and before I let you go, tell you what, next time you're looking for somebody to take you out to lunch, give me a ring, and let's go and try out Crab Daddy, which is the new place in the downtown Agutnia area.
Let's do that, and I'm contemplating whether to keep myself busy and apply to be an enumerator.
$18.64 an hour.
That's right. Is there an age limit on that?
I don't believe there is. You got to be at least 18 years of age, U.S. citizen. Can you pass an FBI background test?
Yeah.
Wait, you hesitated there for a second.
And I have.
You hesitated for a moment there. No, I was thinking about Crab Daddy. There's going to be a fourth Jamaican grill that's going to be going up, and it occurs to me that you and I haven't had a chance to grab a bite. The last time you and I think, had a meal together, a sit-down meal together in a restaurant was when we were helping Mana plan her campaign. Years and years ago, and we did that over at Shirley's. So what's your current favorite let's go hang out and eat a hamburger for lunch place?
Okay, let's try someplace not so crowded. So I don't want to say what the name is, but I'll text you.
Text me the place. We'll go and find some place where we'll contemplate somebody else's campaign. Currently, I'm trying to perpetrate a campaign between Mary Torres. Mary Camacho Torres and Congressman Mike Sinicolas, just because I want to make people's heads explode.
That's right. Well, they took a picture together.
Well, and that's all that it takes in this town.
That's right.
That's all that it takes in this town is you got a picture of one person and another person, and we're close enough to an election year that people will start saying, well, that's the hookup. Nobody in the Democrat Party likes Mike. They'd be happy if he went over to the Republican Party and ran with Mary. Encourage that kind of behavior, right?
Yeah, yeah, for your side, yeah. Why not?
From my side, sure. Yeah, I tell you what, this is how I'll make everybody in the Democratic Party all pissed off. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to encourage Michael to run with Mary Torres and sign a unity pledge.
Finally.
There we go. Hey, listen, I'm smart enough to know that you always leave the stage on the loudest laughing, and so I laughed loud on that one. So I'm going to say the bit's over. I'll talk to you pretty soon, as usual.
Okay.
Love you, mean it. Kiss to Anthony and the wrist. I'll talk to you later, Uncle Robert.
All right, okay.
There we go. And that's the way we go into and out of the weekend. To say, if I don't talk to him, I'm serious. I don't think any of the other nephews or nieces call him up on a regular basis. I think I might be the only one that maintains regular communications with our sainted and beloved Uncle Robert. So we managed to make it through that break without getting into too much trouble here today. With it, because sometimes we can. Between the two of us, there is an irascible sense of humor. We don't always agree on politics. But we do agree on what we think is funny.
Yeah, but you did say bloody fortune. If you were in England radio, you would have been
But
fined
I didn't say it in that break. We different words mean different things in places, I suppose.
Yeah,
so I should not say, if I was in England, I'd be fined. It'd kick me off the air.
Yeah, because bloody is actually colloquially,
Yeah.
that's easy for me to say. Anyway, it is a curse word.
Smug Wimp, we're talking about VPNs. Smug Wimp says you build a secret tunnel and your internet head pokes up somewhere else when you use the VPNs. If you want to get into that, into the Disney Plus, that again currently not available here on Guam. And you know what? We'll survive it. I promise you, we will survive. The struggle is real here, but I think we're equal to the task to be able to survive just a few more days, maybe possibly weeks, without Disney Plus.
Well, especially when you consider that all of their first subscribers had all their data stolen from them and sold on the black web.
Yes, absolutely. Can we chime in on that? There's a perfectly good reason why it's not so bad not to sit out the first day of the season, because that's exactly what happened. 10 million people, and everybody made a big deal about that. I made a big deal about it. My God, Disney Plus, 10 million people signed up practically overnight. Yeah. And 10 million people have gotten their social security numbers, their date of birth, their mother's maiden name, first dog's name, favorite classmate, all of that kind of crap has now been stolen and available on the dark web. So if you've got Disney Plus, if you VPN'd into Disney Plus, you might want to check with the bank. I'd call up one of those services that keeps track of your credit score and make sure that you are still okay. 9:26 in the morning is the Ray Gibson Show on a Friday, and then looking at the clock going, well, 33 more minutes before it gets to be the weekend. And what have I got planned for the weekend? That's classified. I'm sorry, that's a sensitive subject. I can't tell you about my plans for the weekend.
It's really very sensitive information.
Yep. There's, somebody asked me about it the other day, and I said, I really want to tell you, but I've got a feeling it could be one of those things where Monday there'll be YouTubes, and I'll be all embarrassed about it anyway. So we'll just wait and see what happens on Monday. Rumors swirling over next year's Guam's delegate race. I started riffing on this just a little bit ago because it's interesting to me, and interesting, even more interesting that people value my opinion on the subject. I think it would be a good idea to have people like Tony Babauta and Regine Bisco-Lee run against Mike Nicholas for the congressman spot. I don't know that they could win. As you know, I don't know that Regine's got the political capital to win. She could maybe. I don't know. I don't know if she could beat Mike in the prime. Remember this about Mike Nicholas, if you're thinking about running, and I might have mentioned this to one of these two people anyway. Remember that this is the guy that beat Madeline Bradalio.
Also, I think, generally speaking, the population is actually fairly pleased with the job he's done so
hasn't
far.
really broken anything. I mean, you got that guy that got mad because he didn't get the D.C. job, so he complained to the Election Commission, and
well, once again, Ray,
It's really very sensitive information.
yeah, we can't talk about it.
There's another bit I could do. I could totally do another bit on that, and I can't. I can't. Love the family too much. It's 9:28. Anyway, among those widely considered, according to the story by Kevin Kerrigan, widely considered to be contemplating entering the race are fellow Democrat Senator Regine Biscoe-Lee and the governor's chief of staff, Tony Babauta, who we still haven't had the beer barbecue summit yet. I'm waiting for people to get back. That's why. Neither one has filed any organizational reports with the Election Commission, but both have acknowledged that the scuttlebutt naming them as political candidates, they recognizes that there is chatter. We have chatter about Regine and Tony Babauta. But I think the chatter was self-produced. It's the same crap as me running around saying, well, if I were to run for political office, and that gets people talking. The same kind of, you remember when we first launched the program a year and a half, 2 years ago now almost?
Dude, I don't even remember yesterday.
I know. One of the things that we did by way of getting, a little bit more notoriety was I actually went out and we had a bunch of signs made up, looked like political signs.
Yeah, we have it here on the weekend on the visual here. On
where?
The video sweepers. I don't know. It's in there somewhere. It's one of the. It's one of the video.
Oh yeah.
It
looks like a game show host, right?
Yeah.
So.
A little game show host.
Yeah. So, and that was a way to get a little bit of notoriety and get a little bit of street presence for the radio station and for me back on the air, and that almost immediately was followed by people going, oh my God, he's running for office. Oh my God, he's running for office. Didn't say anything about which party I was going to be running in, but we had the red, white, and blue bunting and all of that stuff in there, and I'm waving on the roads and all of that, and there's all these people think that I might be able to. So there's chatter that existed on that, but it was chatter that I created, frankly. I'd show up at the venue on fundraising nights and help out with the giveaways and the drawings. Right? So everybody was thinking, oh my God, he's running. He's got to be running. He's doing the drawings at the venue with the other Republicans and a Democrat or two. God, that was fun. God, it was just crazy fun. In response to a request for comment, Babauta issued a statement to the Pacific News Center saying, at this time, I'm deeply focused on the priorities of the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration and my responsibilities as chief of staff. It's humbling, however, to know people feel confident that I would make a good candidate for elected office. I thank all who have been expressing their support for me. Now, I know Tony Babauta. He's had this written for years. Right. He's got it memorized. He can do this. He can go from this to this is the famous Budweiser beer. We know of no other beer which costs so much to brew and age. Our exclusive Beechwood aging produces a sweetness and probably a taste that you will not find in any other beer at any price. It's just memorized. It's there. I'm deeply focused on the priorities of the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration. Senator Biscoe-Lee also responded with the following statement that she's had memorized since she was a little girl in school. While my primary focus is on the job at hand, I'm deliberating what would be the best capacity to advance our agenda of sustained success for working families and job creators. There we go. So that's in neither case they said no.
Right.
Neither one of them have said no, which gives the chatterers out in the political community an opportunity to continue chattering. Congressman St. Nicholas told the Pacific News Center at this time he will reserve comment. You know why? Because he's smart and he's already got the job. Why would you show any hand that you've got one way or the other about any of the machinations and the goings on of your Democratic Party friend? But as I said before, if you are anywhere near the top of the Republican food chain, my recommendation is that you support like you wouldn't believe all of that stuff. In fact, everybody that is at the legislature right now, anybody that the Democrats, that the Republicans perceive as a threat to a majority win in the 36 Guam legislature, you need to approach them via stealth and back channels and with no identities. You need to encourage people to run. We need to have people like Joe St. Augustine believing that he is going to be the next congressman. All you need to do is just go whisper. He's probably having a cigarette outside the office right now down in Tamuni. And just he's sitting there going, wonder what I'm going to do next year. What's it going to be? And just have somebody go up to him and say, hey, Joe, you ever thought about D.C.? I mean, really, I think you got the chops. I think there's things that you can do, right? I think maybe can you imagine the job that you and Kilili, brothers of the Mariana Islands, you see where the line of BS can go on this, right? And there are people that go, I think you got something there. Why not? Start thinking about that. And there's another 8 Democrats over at the legislature that probably take it hook, line, and sinker. Ponder that while the commercials are playing. It's 9:33, and that's iConnect time. Run to the nearest iConnect and ask them about saving money. You got sweet technology there. Push-to-talk, mobile, and internet plans at iConnect. 888-8888.
As the busy holiday season approaches, the last thing on your mind is to visit your medical provider. At American Medical Center, we put your health first. A preventative visit will ensure a healthy holiday season. Call 647-8262, and together we can address any concerns you may have and make certain all your medications are current. From our family to yours, happy holidays from American Medical Center, your partner in healthcare.
Ever notice how that one perfect holiday gift is just out of reach? Or how sales on the stuff you want all come at the same time? This season, plan ahead with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. Now you can afford to be nice without being naughty. For more details, visit FHB.com or any branch to apply. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Lights, camera, fajita! Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors, featuring the new all-star cast, the grilled stuffed avocado with southwestern shrimp topped with Santa Fe sauce, cilantro, limes, and queso fresco. Or the Monterey chicken, juicy chicken breast topped with barbecue sauce, mixed cheese, bacon, diced tomatoes, and chopped green onion. All served on a sizzling skillet with warm flour tortillas. Experience bold, sizzling fajita limited time flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here. Located at the Tumon Sands Plaza, 2nd floor.
Kenny Williams online says, I like Mike. Yeah. It's a note from my friend. Says, I went to Carabao last night and no Ray Gibson. I spent enough money in there. I saw. You know what? Was hanging out with some friends. Well, we did some running down in Tumon last night, just cause. Need to get some mileage in and start chipping away at a little bit of training for the marathon if I run it next year. And then after that, thought maybe I'd mosey over to Cross, so I did. And on the way home, stopped by Venue because I wanted to see what was going. Actually, I was wearing my shorts again, and I was hankering to show them off. So I'm really sorry. Check me later on, and we'll see what happens when it gets to be tonight. Troops. Sorry. I'm pointing my finger at the camera. I'm pointing my finger at the microphone as well. Question, when are the real trees coming to Guam for the holiday season? We're close on Thanksgiving. And it seems to me that, when I grew up in my house, my mom, Rosemarie, did the Christmas decorations usually right after Thanksgiving, if not Thanksgiving Day. If we got the tree, put the tree up and start decorating because it's going to be, now it's Christmas time. Mm-hmm. That's the way it is. I go Thanksgiving into the Christmas holiday. And near as I can tell, we don't have any real Christmas tree on Guam yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen, but then again, I'm not looking, but I haven't seen them. I haven't even heard of them.
Your cat needs a real Christmas tree with ornaments on them. Saying.
Yeah.
Oh, I found my lights.
Oh, good. Did they work? Did you test them?
Oh, you got to plug them in?
Well, it's a good idea to do that before you string them on said tree, windows, doors.
Just thinking about putting them on the neighbor's fence. Here's a story about trees coming to Guam, and it'll disappoint you to a degree. This story comes from Thornton, Indiana. About 200 freshly cut pine and fir trees are headed to U.S. military bases in Afghanistan, Guam, and Alaska, compliments of the Indiana Christmas tree farmers.
Now, just for clarity, these are not trees with fir. They are fir trees.
Fir trees.
F-I-R. Yeah.
Correct.
Just
correct.
to make sure.
Appreciate the clarification. Hold on. I think I've actually got some sound that goes with this and a story that we can play for you. I think all you're going to need to do on this one, I don't think we need to put the video on the screen because I don't think there is any video, but there is some audio that comes with this story I'll get to. The national kickoff for the annual Trees for Troops campaign took place Tuesday at Dull's Christmas Tree Farm in Thorntown. People from Thorntown, Indiana are recognizing this and going, he's talking about us. Shut up, the guy on the radio is talking about Thorntown, Indiana. God blessed us with great weather for it, said Tom Dull, co-owner of the tree farm. It wasn't hot, too cold, raining or snowing. And we had a bunch of people to help us send that spirit of Christmas to troops overseas. We're overseas, guys. About 15 farms from around the state, representing the Indiana Christmas Tree Growers Association, donated the trees. They were brought to the farm where they were bound, boxed, and boarded into a FedEx delivery truck. FedEx, national sponsor of Trees for Troops, a program of the Christmas Spirit Foundation. The freight carrier will ship 17,000 trees. Wow. This is a big number, right? 17,000 trees to 75 U.S. military installations around the world. They've been doing that since the beginning of the program 15 years ago. 250,000 trees have been donated. What a beautiful story. Similar collections are being made at other Christmas tree farms across the country. It's such a good feeling. Why wouldn't we want to do that, said Dull, who, with his wife, Carrie, have been part of the Trees for Troops campaign for 14 of its 15 years. And I think this might be a direct quote from Mr. Dulles.
Those men and women who are giving up their time, putting themselves in danger on our behalf so that we can enjoy the freedoms that we do have, that's a significant commitment that they've made for us. And for us to be able to share a little bit of what we do and send that spirit of Christmas, if you will, over to them, it's just a good feeling. Why wouldn't we want to do that?
Nice. Why wouldn't we want to do that? Thank you, Mr. Dulles. I appreciate your Christmas spirit, and I appreciate your support for the troops. Could you send some more to Guam? Because I don't know where we're getting Christmas trees. I don't know when we're going to be getting Christmas trees. I haven't heard from any of the guys over at Cost You Less or Home Depot. Sometimes Harvest Christian Academy. Sometimes the Harvest folks will have some kind of Christmas tree fundraiser, usually for Harvest House. But I haven't heard anything from those guys yet. In fact, we're getting close to the Christmas tree, the Christmas lighting thing over at Harvest, right? Before too much longer. I'll see if I can get some details on that. But if you know something, tell the others via me. Let me know about it so I can get word to everybody. Nick Perlowski says, I could have sworn I saw trees at Cost You Less in Tamuning last night. Yeah, but you drink a lot, so I can't count on you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing around there. My friend Nasha finds the page. Richard Leon is online. Nick Keena McCausland, why does it have to be Friday already? You know, Keena, if you like, you just hit me up on Facebook. I'll read you the news. I mean, if you absolutely can't make it through the day without me. Pam Duvall says Mikey is my congressman. Smug Wimp, getting back on that subject I riffed on a few minutes ago. RBL, that's Regine Biscoli, running for Congress would be good in that it gets her out of the legislature. Well, that's my point. That's the point here, guys. We need to encourage as many of the Democratic majority over at the legislature to run for Mike's position. Mike's not going to lose, but you know, it might clear things out a little bit. That is if the Republicans are capable of mounting campaigns for people to run for the legislature.
I've had 3 calls back to back to back. They all say that you really need to get off the DMT because there are Christmas trees at Home Depot. And it costs you less, and everywhere, and you should just not drink so much at night or something.
What?
I'm just telling you what they told me.
I haven't passed by any of those places. Yeah. They have them?
Yeah, one guy did call and say that they actually did the fumigation on them last night. So they got to wait 24 hours for that to work and kill all the little bugs.
Well, it's not like they're on sale and everybody's buying them.
Yeah, probably tomorrow.
Yeah,
when they'll go on sale.
Okay. Yeah,
but there's a big box of them out in Home Depot right now. Clayton called. So
I haven't been by Home Depot in a couple of minutes. Is the thing. But do you think
I have to have escort.
All right, yeah. Since the incident in '87, I'm with you. I got you. It's 9:42 in the morning. 888-255-8888-TALK. A couple of other things that might be of some kind of an interest around here. And I mentioned this before, and I'm gonna mention it again because I think this is going to make life very, very interesting on Route 8 here. In just a few days, they're putting in. You know that they're putting in lights. At the intersection that takes you into Carbolito. If you follow it all the way down, takes you to Yellow Store, where I'm sure they're selling Christmas trees as well. Because now apparently everybody is selling Christmas trees. The Department of Public Works is activating a new flashing yellow arrow traffic signal. It is going to be turned on Tuesday, November the 26th. Now, I'm a Route 8 user. I live on that street. And it is becoming among the great annoyances because there was a time, it wasn't that long ago, where there were hardly any traffic signals on Route 8. But when you go up there now, Well, it used to be, I'm trying to remember when I was a kid. You get up to there was one intersection over by the old Rainbow Market, just at where Roots is, and then it was nothing until you got to the 8, 10, and 16 intersection. But now it seems they've got them everywhere. So if we start at that one, you've got that light, and then you mosey over up the street a little bit more, and you get another light over by Cars Plus. Is another intersection that takes you into Tiedzen, and then you go up the street a little bit more, and they're talking about putting a light in front of the new Payless, talking about turning on that light at the intersection at Carbolito. I want to say there's at least one. Yeah, there's another one at that one good intersection to Tiedzen, and you got 8, 10, and 16. So it's getting to a point where it's going to be stop and go traffic just cause. You go fast enough, and then you got to stop, and you got to go fast enough, and then you got to stop again. And there's a fantasy that they try to indulge us in every once in a while, which is annoying, where they say, oh, that's okay, we'll time the lights so that if you're traveling at the speed limit, if you've got a green light over here, you'll have a green light over there. How many times, Jack, have we heard that story from a variety of people in the family of the Department of Public Works?
Like I said, green means, go fast. Mm-hmm. Yellow means go faster.
Go faster because red's coming, dummy. Yeah, so they're putting a flashing yellow traffic signal there, which means if you're in the turning lane, if there's nobody coming, just go.
Yeah, I use the left turn expertise to NASCAR, and because we're not good at it.
No,
at all.
No, but they discriminate against people that do like to make left turns that think we're pretty good at it. They got all these traffic islands out there, and all these places where you got to stop, and instead of going, if it seems to me if you're already in your lane by yourself, I think all of the intersections where you turn left ought to be that yellow flashing option where if there's nobody coming, go ahead and go.
I think that one of the correct procedures is what they have up and down Challenge Park and Orchard, where it says no left turns during certain hours. I think that's a great idea. But as far as making left turns on Marine Corps Drive or some major arteries, I don't know, man. Logistics is a hard thing to comprehend here in Guam. I mean, the road doesn't change, brothers and sisters. Change.
And we're not adding new ones. Even when it looks like they're going to change them, they're not really changing them. 8, 10, and 16. You remember everybody was all excited about the construction on 8, 10, and 16. And it's like, wow, make it wider. Going to be with more turning over here and less over there. And it turned out it was the same thing. At the end of it, we got the same layout.
Yeah, they're still playing by Civilization. What was the name of that?
I think I remember the game that you're talking about. Yeah.
Simulation City. So, anyways, I just called because I want to bounce some ideas off of you. Something that came across my.
I'm proud that you consider me intelligent enough to be bounceable. Thank you.
Well, it's just. So anyway, I've been reading about articles and stuff about shortage of hotels here and rooms, shortage of rooms and renovations to help our tourist industry. I was wondering, you frequent Japan quite often, right?
My preference, if I've got enough money to get on an airplane and stay in a hotel, yeah, Japan.
Have you ever stayed at a hotel capsule?
Not overnight. One of the last trips I took, I was on a longish layover at I want to say at Kansai, and no, which was the other? It wasn't Narita. It was another one of these cities.
It might have been Tokyo.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't Narita City. I'll remember in a second. But anyway, yeah, it was a longish layover, and I decided I didn't want to hang out in the terminal, so I was able to get out, and they had a little tube hotel there, and it was great. Get out there, and there was a Lawson's right next door. And so you get all your supplies, your beer and beef jerky and all of that stuff, and then you go and they had Wi-Fi, little television sets that you could watch if you wanted to watch TV. You could shower, you get yourself cleaned up, or you could just lay down in the thing and sleep for a couple hours.
But weren't you surprised about how they did what they did with accommodations and how they maximize space and things like that.
Very efficient.
It was very efficient and very cheap. And so, I stayed in a few of them, not anywhere in Osaka, or it's really inside Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think that sort of concept could work here in Guam. I mean, we're short in space. Look how the idea flourishes. We're short in space. We need to maximize space, and capsule hotels are the way I think that we should be. We should be establishing these things out here, just based on our locations, logistics.
For tourists, you want to do this for tourists?
And so we need to move away a little bit from this concept of big hotels. And if we really want to open up our tourist base and our attractions, I think these are things that we should be looking towards. And it just baffles me. Every year it's the same old when it comes out of the Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association, coming out of the Chamber of Commerce, coming out of GVB, and nobody is recognizing the changes that are happening in our neighboring areas when it comes to tourism.
Okay.
And it's a shame. It's an outright shame, and it just baffles me. And I've stayed in these, and they range from prices, and I don't know who's in charge of these things or who.
Well, go ahead and build one.
Yeah, well, that's just it, and it requires resources, it requires investors, but I think it's a great idea. I think it's not even a novel idea. I think that's where. If you ever stayed in one, it feels like a space age.
No, look, in terms of your no-frills accommodations, I don't disagree. It's kind of got a hostile kind of feel to it, if you will.
Well, no, it doesn't. I think you might have stayed in a cheap one.
No, well, it was at the airport. I want to say it was at Nagoya International Airport. I was coming back from Okinawa or someplace like that, and like I said, it was a long layover. It was very comfortable, and it didn't feel like a coffin. And you can leave the thing open, close it. There's all kinds of facilities not too far away. So I thought it was all right. I don't know that I don't know which customers, what tourist niche you're talking about that, unless they're the ultra cheap, which tourist niche that you're talking about that would, look for those accommodations in particular, as opposed to kind of, the resort trip that people plan for Guam.
Well, when the ones I stayed in Tokyo, there were a lot of business people that stayed there. So,
you get a lot of American business people or Japanese business people that got drunk and missed the last train.
No, these are Japanese people.
Yeah, because they got drunk and missed the last train, so they had to stay in the tube hotel.
I don't know. When I stayed in one, I stayed in one for 3 days, and then because it was so cheap, I tried another one. There was one for like $40.
I never want to travel with you. I never want to go on an airplane with you.
I was just amazed at the utilization and the maximization of space, and they have a lot of commodities in there that we don't offer here. So.
Have you been to that place where it's across from American Music on Marine Corps Drive? I can't remember the name of it, but it is one of these places where I'm told that many Koreans will go to because they've got they're leaving the hotel. Checkout is at noon or 11 o'clock or something like that. But the airplane doesn't leave until 6 or 7 o'clock at night. They've got these long spaces where they're not in a hotel anymore. There's a place over there where you can. They put it together so that you could take a nap during the day, right? Siesta. I'm not getting the name right for some reason. It's I've only been in there once, and it's a nice place. You got a little coffee shop going on inside. You can get all kinds of different cereals, Korean cereals if you want to, and if you feel like taking a nap, there's nap places where you can go and close your eyes for a little while.
Yeah, but back to the.
And I'm wondering if that might be one of these kind of places where we could turn that into one of these tube hotels.
Yeah, but these capsule hotels also have gyms. They have what do you call them? Those saunas, and you know the ones that the Japanese use, or the hot like a
onsen. Yeah, it's an onsen.
Yeah, and they have a lot of. You said that the hotels do, and you know they also have capsule hotels that segregate, you know, according to what sex you are, not gender, but what sex you are. So, and I was just amazed. So some of them, you know, on one floor, you could have as much as 20 or 30 capsules in one area, and some of them have like 12 or 10. So it varies. It's, you know, where you're located at, how busy the traffic is. But I was just surprised. You know,
it'd be cool to be cool to have one of those down in Tumon next time you're partying too hard. You say, well, I don't want, not going to drive home. Someplace where you can go and crash for the night. Maybe wake up, get yourself cleaned up. Maybe even buy yourself. You can go to Lawson's all across Japan and get yourself a new white shirt, perfect for the office, and even new underwear and socks. Hey, I gotta break away. I got the news coming up. I'll talk to you. Have a good weekend. All right, Jack.
You too.
All right. 888-8255. Joe Cruz says, no, thank you. I like to sprawl out on the bed. Yeah, you miss a couple of those things, and not much of a view from inside one of those little tubes, unfortunately. 9:55 in the morning. I'll be right back.
Hey, what's that?
A Subway Big Hot Pastrami.
My Big Hot Pastrami?
No, my Subway Big Hot Pastrami. Get your own.
Get your own Subway Big Hot Pastrami. Tender, juicy beef on freshly baked sunflower crunch bread, topped with pickles and mustard. Finish off your meal with all new seasoned potato wedges, baked to perfection right in the restaurant. Both available for a limited time only. Subway, make it what you want.
Life happens. You need to go to work. The kids need to go to school. There are family events, friend events, any event, and everyone needs to communicate. When you need mobile services that you know you can rely on, choose GTA. As the winner of Ookla's 2019 award for Best Mobile Coverage on Guam, you can rely on us to offer you better plans to modernize your life, fit your needs, and keep you connected. So visit us today and let us help you connect. GTA, we start with you.
What?
GRMC's cardiology department treats most complex heart problems. In our catheterization lab, cardiologists use imaging equipment to treat clogged arteries that can cause heart attacks or heart failure. We perform balloon angioplasty, stenting, and other life-saving cardiac procedures. If you suffer from a heart condition, have your provider refer you to GRMC's cardiology clinic at 645-5500. GRMC, where patients are partners.
I got some paperwork I got to fill out for the National Bone Marrow Donor Program that I got to send in. Thank God I don't have to get this thing notarized. Dr. Tom Shea says that if I go all the way through with this, it's possible that I am a match for somebody in the mainland that has got some bone marrow issues, and it is possible that I might be able to save somebody's life. So I'm kind of excited about this process. It might require me to be off the air for a few days, and may actually require me to go through what some people have described as a painful procedure, depending on which one of a couple of different processes that they go through. But I'm willing to do it to save a life. And I'm willing to do it because Tom Shea said if I do, I'll go to heaven. All of my sins will be forgiven, which is awesome because it means I can make some new sins. If I'll wipe out all the old ones, born a Catholic, right? So if I wipe out all the old ones, then it means I can make up some whole new sins and then go to heaven. But I believe already that I'm going to go to heaven already. There was a once upon a time I did a narration. I did a read for Fran Bauman, and she'd written a couple of children's books. One was Ramon on the Phone, and as you might imagine, a story about a little kid who spent too much time on his phone. And another one was Midge in the Fridge, and it was a story about a fat little girl named Midge. Yeah. I probably shouldn't have said it that way. Anyway, so I was the quote voice talent for all of this stuff. And there's a story. I want to say it's in today's PDN where there's a picture of Fran and the entire book team, except me because I wasn't for whatever reason I wasn't there when they handed them out. But they're using those books as part of the children's curriculum. for eating healthy and healthy lifestyle and healthy choices and things like that. And I knew that there was going to be some good coming out of those books. There it is. Diabetes Coalition's nutrition curriculum has been launched in 15 schools. Page 9 of today's Guam Daily Post. The coalition has selected 2 storybooks, Ramon on the Phone and Midge at the Fridge. The books were created on island by a team of all Guam professionals, including author Francis Bauman, illustrators Ariel Demalanta and Stephanie Librando, and audiobook narrator Ray Gibson. Isn't that nice? I'm going to clip this out and stick it in the house someday so when my kids try to figure out what kind of life I led, that I was there with reading up and helping kids get into a healthier lifestyle and not eat such lousy food all the time. And I did that without leading by example because there's no way that I could possibly lead by example eating clean. You know what I mean? Anyway, so that's nice. I'm glad they're doing that with the books and all of that. Somebody talking about on Facebook Live saying we need to have more of these B&Bs in the villages. You know, help the economy. Here, you want to know a secret? You've got B&Bs in the village. You just don't know you have B&Bs in the village. You ever notice you see a lot of these people driving around in rent-a-cars, and you go, wow, they must have gotten lost. They're so far off the beaten track. Look at these guys in my village. There must be lost. They're not lost. They're living at one of your neighbor's places for a week or two and not staying down in Tumon. And what is this in the background? Is this a holiday theme? Turn it up. Yes, let's feel that. I think I will leave you with these holiday moments. The jingles, you can almost see the twinkling lights in my eyes. The radio station is KUSG Haggetnia 93.3. This is The Point. Have a great weekend. See you Monday.
Another full day. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The final 2 witnesses, at least for now, have testified in the impeachment inquiry hearings. They say they saw an increase in interest in U.S. politics driving policymaking in Ukraine.
Both witnesses have described a